Batterdays, Batterdays. Omnidog and the Minister of Comics talk forever, get right your ergonomics. Taking questions from the chat. With a name like that, you think they talk more about the bat. Batterdays, Batterdays, Batterdays in the BatCave.
Good evening and welcome to everybody's favorite show, Baturdays in the BatCave on Omnidog's Vault. I'm Omnidog, joined as always by the Minister of Comics. How are you doing, Minister?
Not as good as you, who's batching it up for the next 2 weeks.
Woo! Well, I've got 5 days down, 9 to go.
I was talking to my wife recently saying I can't think of a time in the future where I'll have like more than like maybe a day at the most. Even that's stretching it.
Yeah. Hi, honey. Can you take both kids over to your parents for the day?
Yeah.
Just leave me alone.
And like the longest I'm alone is at work, and that's not really relaxing. So I'm not really alone that much either at work. So not really that much alone time.
Yeah, Patty's always taken spring break ever since Kelly was born and taken her out to Arizona. So I've always gotten a week to myself because as Mr. Mom, that was really the only break I got. And so she's been going out there for over 30 years now. And now that she's retired, it's 2 weeks.
Did you have like something you would set aside for every year for that week that you would do, like something you normally wouldn't do, or just an activity you knew that you would do? What was that?
Yeah, it started back in the 90s. And this was back when there were still record stores. Well, now they're
back, but they were gone for a while.
Yeah, and now they're back. But back then, I would take the week to go record shopping. There was a great record store over in Arlington, and I would have lunch at one of the breweries there because there are a lot of brew pubs back in the early 90s in Arlington. Arlington was rocking. And then I'd go record shopping. And the second year I didn't go record shopping. I just went to brew pubs. And I can't remember what I did the following years, but yeah, I would save up something to do. It was mostly doing stuff. It wasn't watching. One year I played Resident Evil 2 the whole time they were gone. This was back on the, I guess, PS2. And I must have spent an entire day trying to start the game and just get out of the first corner. Have you ever played Resident Evil?
I've never been a big Resident Evil person. It's never been the game that I really am drawn to.
Well, Resident Evil 2, they made it purposely so that the controls were wonky, so you'd get killed more. And I couldn't even get out. I couldn't start the game. I couldn't even get out of the corner to start the game because I couldn't get used to those wonky controls. And then I watched The Big Lebowski, and I had White Russians the rest of the spring break. You'll notice there's drinking that's happening.
Yeah, I've noticed that theme so far throughout this.
There was drinking throughout that whole theme, throughout that whole 25 years well, not 25 now. It's, let's see, 15 minutes, 30. Okay, 15 years. Yeah. So then Omnidog, when I said you had to put your family to sleep, he says, perfect practice for this show.
Ouch.
Go somewhere else, Omnidog. There's about 1,000 comic channels. They're not as good as this one. Go elsewhere. Here's my buddy saying something nice. Take notes, Omnidog. James Abel, I'm only 10 people away. I checked today. Don't give me any burner accounts. I don't need the pity. I don't need the pity.
Yeah, the hard thing is everyone watching here, for the most part, is probably a subscriber already.
Yeah, they're already here. You're exactly right. So,
but they can click the like button.
They can click the like button. They can if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. We always love comments. Any kind of comment. Now, Richard here says another great thumbnail. That was all Taylor's idea.
Boo.
Sorry, I said Tyler.
I was joking.
No, so that was all Taylor's idea. So I just did the posing, but it's not a scary thing that I saw. I was like, oh, an out of print book. That's not my scared face. My scared face would be if my dog just all of a sudden walked in here. You'd see my scared face because she's upstairs asleep. But that was the face that I gave Taylor to pick from my my picks.
Yeah, I've been having fun making the thumbnails recently. Well, your wife pretty much has all of them besides this show for the most part. She has all the other ones, I think.
And she'll take the ones you ask me to be in. She'll take the picture,
right? But she couldn't this time, so she did a selfie stick. I cropped it a little bit because you can see the blue light of the selfie stick, so I cropped it up a little bit.
That wasn't the selfie stick. I set it up on a tripod, and the blue light you're seeing is the remote button. Yeah,
it was like that small, that much of a crop. It wasn't.
I didn't even notice that. Okay.
No, it's been fun, but I know at some point I'll run out of a funny idea, and we'll have to do a boring one again.
I don't know. You're coming up with an awful lot of good ideas.
I guess so. I am the idea man around here, I suppose.
You are. I often call you that. And I just wanted to say, don't forget, organic price book code is Omnidog. And there's a link in my description for organic price books and 5% off shipping 3 or more books together. Omnidog, ship it together.
So Omnidog by itself is 2% off, and then Omnidog ship it together.
$2 off.
Oh, sorry.
If I said 2%, I meant $2. Okay. $2 off on the code Omnidog. I may not have even said. Okay, yeah, start over. Get $2 off your order with the code Omnidog. If I misspoke, I apologize. And then 5% off if you ship 3 or more books together with Omnidog ship it together. I should put that in here that it's $2. I will. I'll fix that.
So basically our topic, which we're probably not going to get to for a while, like usual, is books that are out of print that Jess and I think you should hunt for. And the stipulations I put on myself, I don't know if Jess thought of put this on himself, was books I don't think are going to get reprinted anytime soon. There's a couple I thought of. I'm like, this will probably get an Omni at some point. With Marvel, it pretty much always, there's going to be some, I mean, not always, but it's really easy for Marvel to do reprints. DC, you never know what they're going to do. They'll randomly do reprints. They just did Gotham Central. And so you never know what they're going to do. But there's some books I'm like, that is an out-of-print book, but I don't know if I want to tell people to look for it because it might get a reprint or it might get a different collection.
A complete collection, yeah.
Right. So I decided to go for ones I don't think are going to get a reprint or a new collection in the near future.
And most of my picks are DC, but we do have a smattering of Marvel in there.
Yeah.
Because of what exactly what you said, especially with things like X-Men books. Like I don't know that I'd recommend anybody go hunting for some of these obscure X-Men books that I have, because New X-Men Childhood's End got collected in an omnibus, I'm sure Extreme X-Men's going to get collected. A lot of these X books I think will get collected, and I wouldn't in paperback. I just can't imagine that's not Omar's ultimate goal, is to get all these trades put into a collection.
Even the ones he hates.
Well, yeah, he doesn't even like every X-Men book, but he wants it in Omni form, I'm sure.
An example I thought of that I'm like, people should look for these, but I think it might get a reprint or an omnibus or an omnibuy down the line, is Secret Six by Gail Simone. I'll be stunned if that doesn't get an omnibus or two in the next couple of years. That just seems like a no-brainer to me.
I agree it's a no-brainer, but I would think Suicide Squad by Ostrander, which is a little harder to find, and Secret Six would be two easy, perfect candidates to get collected.
Well, especially whenever the new Suicide Squad movie does come out in the future, I'm sure that'll happen around that time. I could be wrong, But I
For
just
Ostrander, they haven't done it with 2 of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant with Secret Six.
Oh, is there a movie coming out of Secret Six?
No, I just meant because it's pretty much a Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay,
basically.
yeah.
So I think at some point we're going to get it. I'd be surprised because we did get the Gail Simone Wonder Woman Omnibus and Batgirl Omnibus. So they do seem to dig Gail Simone in this format. And it's a pretty popular run. I mean, it's not like a top tier echelon, Batman by Scott Snyder that everyone has read, but it's a pretty popular run that a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
So I would put that on my list, but I do think it will get an omnibus or 2 in the next couple of years.
You have more faith, well, in general than I do, but I don't know. I think I'm going to just go ahead and say you should hunt these Secret Six books down and get them because they're just going to get more rare. And I mean, if Harley Quinn was in it, then yeah, but Secret Six, while great, is fairly obscure that only, I would say, the average comic fan probably doesn't even know it exists. Do you think it's such a hidden gem?
The average comic fan doesn't buy Omnis, though. I think by
collected editions.
I think, trade paperbacks, I think average comic fans will pick up, but not many average comic fans will pick up an omnibus.
Right.
I think you really have to know your stuff to really pick up Omnis. I'm not trying to be elitist if you don't. I'm just saying. No. I think for the most part, if it's a niche of a niche of a niche.
Yeah.
If you're collecting Omnis, you probably know a decent amount about comics. So I think that the Secret Six, while it's not like a Scott Snyder Batman or like Dan Slott Spider-Man in terms of being in the public eye, it's definitely a pretty popular run among collected editions people. But like you said, it's DC, so you had no idea. But they have been collecting things that we've been asking for a while, like The Question by Denny. I don't know when that's coming out. That's been pushed back, I think.
I think The Question, I thought it was the fall.
It was supposed to be March originally. Or April.
Oh yeah, I think it's pushed back to like.
I'm fine with that because there's been so much stuff this spring I've had to buy, so I'm fine with things being pushed back as long as they're going to come out. But I think they've been doing a decent job, not as good as Marvel is, obviously, of putting on Omnis.
Yeah.
But they've been doing a little bit better recently. But when you compare how many Omnis a year are put out by Marvel to DC, it's pretty shameful.
Last week, I mean, the second week of April, Marvel put out more Omnis than DC does in 6 months.
And DC is not really doing deluxe editions that much anymore. They're doing like a lot of standard size hardcovers now. Maybe they're kind of going back. It seems like it's a little bit different than the New 52 method, but maybe it's a little bit similar how they do a hardcover and then a trade. The standard size hardcover and then a trade.
Which are both the same size, right?
Right. Same trim size. It's a little bit bigger on the shelf if it's a standard size hardcover, but the page size is the same. So
yeah. So I think there are some of these tonight that are candidates to be collected, but I'm going to go on the premise that they're not going to be collected or reprinted in the next 2 years. And that I think what you and I agree on is that these are books that are attainable if you hunt, and they're really, really good. We really love them, all of them. And that's why the idea is they're out of print books you should hunt for, because we love all of these books, and we didn't have to go to great lengths to get them. It was just a lot of hunting. Taylor and I
got all these books at my honey holes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
whole stack.
Taylor and I. Oh, you got them all there?
I think this whole stack I have is from my honey holes. I don't think I got online.
And he has the honey holes in Pittsburgh where I found so many books. And I just walked into a bookshop last Saturday in Annapolis. It wasn't Third Eye Comics, and there was Batgirl Year One. Just do you have that with you? Batgirl Year One?
No, I thought you were going to talk about it, so I didn't pull it. I know you mentioned it, and it was in your thumbnail, so I assumed you were going to. That is on my list, though. We're going to share those choices of Batgirl Year One, Nightwing Year One, and Robin Year One, because they're great books, but they also look fantastic on the shelf together.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. I was thinking, and this was just it wasn't filed. It was standing by itself, and I thought, I have Nightwing, and that's the hardest one to get. What is this hard to get? It sure looks good. And I looked it up, and it's way out of print. It's not going for too much money, but it was going for more than cover.
I picked that up when we were doing our hunting in the fall. That was one of the books. I picked up that and Robin.
Okay, so it's been out of print at least since then.
Oh, way before. Yeah, definitely before then.
Okay, so this book's
Nightwing is the hardest to find out of all of them. Robin Year One is still attainable. I don't know
right.
if it's officially out of print, but it's close, or it is there maybe. It's hard to tell because it happens so soon. And just all of a sudden it's just out of print.
Robin, I got from Amazon that day in the car that I got this.
Okay, so then Robin's the one that's easiest to find.
Yeah.
Batgirl is a little bit easier after Robin, and then Nightwing's the hardest one. I had Doug McAdams tell me that when he found out I needed it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to find it in any of my honey holes.
I found it somewhere because that's the first one I got. But I think our point is that you don't have to go to great lengths. You will have to search. I mean, but this was in kind of my backyard. Annapolis is less than an hour away, and there this was just sitting there. And I had to get it because now this is so ridiculous, but not only is it a great book, but the spines all match and they're really cool spines.
Do you have all three of them right there you can show?
I can, yes. Just a sec. I know right where they are. And while I'm not a sufferer from non-matching spine disorder, if something comes out like this,
well, DC is notorious for being terrible with spine consistency. And
right.
so it's a cause of celebration when they look as good as that.
Right. And these, I just said, these are going to look great on my shelf. Batgirl, I upgraded from the paperback that I had. Same with Robin. And then I had a Robin and Batgirl trade paperback. So yeah, these look great on the shelf and they're great books. So I don't think you guys are going to have to, if you're just willing to go, maybe people need to start drawing like, maybe an hour radius, 2 hour radius around their house. Of course, I went down on a Sunday to Charlottesville, which is 3 hours away, because I called the store in Charlottesville and they had a book I wanted that I knew was out of print. And it was a honey hole that I've hit multiple times.
What was the book? Do you remember?
Oh, it might have been. Superior Spider-Man 2, I think. Hardcover.
Oh yeah, those were hard to find for a while. I think they still are because the complete collections are out of print too.
Yeah, and I had 1 and 3, and I didn't have that one, and so I called. But again, I don't have kids. I have a wife that if my chore list is checked off.
You do have a kid, just doesn't live at home.
Oh, she doesn't live at home. Yeah,
I don't have any kids. You're way too high. You're way too high in your freedom right now, Geoff. You don't remember you have a kid.
I apologize.
It's like Marty McFly disappearing in Back to the Future. You're having so much fun. The pictures are disappearing and they don't exist anymore.
So, and I'm also willing to drive 3 hours for a comic book. So not everybody is out there is going to want to put in that effort, but
I'd be willing, but it'd be tough in my situation now to do that.
Well, you're lucky that Pittsburgh has like 12 or 15 comic shops, because
like
within an hour of you are so many shops.
We didn't hit like a tenth. We hit like maybe like 5 of 20 some comic stores.
And didn't I find something in every single store?
I think you did. I didn't find something in every store, but you did.
Yeah.
Your stack was also much bigger than mine, though, too. So,
right. Well, I came there specifically to hunt books.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I've been to some of those ones before, and I picked up a lot of stuff I already wanted. But I did find a lot of good stuff. But your stack was 2016 Jess level.
Well, when I get to a honey hole and it's got a bunch of books that I don't have and are out of print, my mentality is get it now or you're going to be sorry later. And if I get duplicates of something, I'll either give it to a friend or put it up on eBay for not nearly. I would want it to sell, so I don't mark my stuff up that much when I put it on eBay. But I'm just as likely to give it to somebody, like I've given you books before or whatever. So let's see. First, Lars says, should probably apologize for trying to be funny in the comments of the last show. Lars, this is me. I don't remember that kind of stuff. You don't need to apologize for anything. But the minister should read Moon now. He's not going to like it.
I remember every word of what you said. Now, I don't even remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, Lars, don't worry about it. No, I didn't.
Jess has amnesia, and I have a job and 3 kids. I mean, 2 kids, 3 kids.
Whoa, you got 3 kids, and I got no kids.
I have 2 kids and a dog, so I've got a lot on my plate, so I don't remember. So don't worry about it.
But Lars, I love this book, but this is not Taylor's thing. He just would not dig it.
I'm just not a Bronze Age type of person.
Yeah, even if it's great Bronze Age. What's up, Joe Goose? It's just not his thing. Oh yeah, Cycle Cleveland notes that. Well, I had help from Van Omnidog there, putting lyrics in the chat. Here we are. Thank you, buddy. The best looking hunks of the vault. Hello, guys. Love your work. There's Reaper, our buddy. I'm way behind. I am 20 minutes behind.
Yeah, somebody was like, I can't believe they started the topic already, but I think we were just doing a preamble. We weren't officially starting.
Yeah, we did some books, but don't worry. We'll tangent it up. Tallulah's here. And hey-o, people that make me pause. Hey-o, people that make me pause my reading of East of West. That's a big compliment, I think, because I love that book.
That's one of my next readathons. I just finished a readathon today, so I need to start a new readathon soon.
And what was that readathon?
I finished the Venom by Donny Cates readathon.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I pumped out that entire run this week.
Is that the 3 hardcovers?
It's the 3 hardcovers. I got the 2 trades for the events because I just don't want the massive omnis because I don't care about all the tie-ins.
Oh, okay. So you got the first 2 hardcovers?
I have the first 3 hardcovers. You do need them all.
Oh, okay.
You need the 3 hardcovers, and then I have the Absolute Carnage trade and the King in Black trade.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You don't want all the tie-ins for Absolute Carnage and for King in Black.
All you really need is the main event and the Venom issues that tie into it. That's all you need. Okay. That's how I feel about the Green Lantern run by Geoff Johns. All you really need are the event stuff and the Black and the Green Lantern issues. You don't really need to have like everything. But I mean, some people want everything, but I just don't love tie-ins that much, so I decided to skip it.
Mr. Tex, hello. Spring break is when Jess orders all the omnis he wanted without getting caught.
Those days are behind you, though. I think.
What's that?
I think those days are behind you. I think you're cutting down on buying a lot of stuff.
Am. I'm cutting down. What's out there are my remaining DCBS pre-orders from last year. I put in an order recently that was pretty small. I'm trying not to get too much anymore because eventually we're going to have to move and I got to pack all this up. My dream of just dying here in the Batcave so far hasn't happened.
Well, you don't have wife and kid anymore, so it doesn't really matter.
I die alone here on the floor.
They got Thanos snapped out of existence, apparently, so I think maybe you can die there.
But I did get an order. Here's one weakness I still haven't cured yet. I did get an order for Big Bad Toy Store today that I did time for when Patty wasn't here.
Just one last time, just for good old times, just to do it one last hurrah.
Those are not books you can smuggle in, and because it says all over it, Big Bad Toy Store.
As the mailman walks away, you can do one of those last job
time. So I did get a big box of toys because I could time the arrival of them. And yes, that is sneaky and underhanded and not signs of a healthy marriage. But who are you to judge? I'm still married. I've been 35 years practically.
So, Jess, on my Instagram at Minister of Comics recently, I did a poll where I asked people, what is your favorite part of the collecting process? And I had 4 options, okay?
Okay.
I want to hear what you would say. Obviously, we enjoy all 4 of them, but is there one that you enjoy more? Number 1, making your order. So making an order. Number 2, opening your order. Number 3, reading or playing with your order once it's unboxed. And finally, posing your toys or putting the books on the shelf.
Oh, okay. I thought
So-
this was just books. It's toys and books?
I did toys and books. I have people who follow me who are toy people too. So I did
Okay.
both. And we both buy toys and books. So here are the options again, Jess.
Okay, yeah.
Number 1, making your order, whether it's toys or books. Unboxing your order. Number 3, reading or playing with your order. And then number 4, displaying your order in some way on your shelf or in
That's
some way.
a good poll.
Yeah, so I'll pull up my poll to see what the results were, and I'll hear your response.
Okay. While you're doing that, Joe Goose, East of West is getting a final reprint this year. Hickman has said, this is it. You're getting the last reprint of all the library editions, and then we're done. So if you want it, this is your last chance to get it.
So, Jess, before I read off the results, what do you think your answer would be out of those 4? Obviously, we like all 4 of them.
Yeah.
What do you think is you had to say, this is my favorite part that I enjoy the most?
I will tell you that reading is the least favorite part.
I guess that makes sense with all the books you have around you that aren't read yet.
Yeah, it's almost a burden to everything I have to read. Making the order is great, but I think tops from the first one, I think the first one would be unboxing either books or toys. That's number 1. Number 2 for books is making the order, but number 2 for toys is playing with them. So I have different things. Like I've got a bunch of boxed figures, and I really want to clear off a space somewhere that I can set up a bunch of figures and just play with them, because I do like doing that and taking pictures and stuff like that.
So your favorite's unboxing for sure.
Unboxing for both. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the poll, it's 8% is making your order. So that was the least popular.
Okay.
Next least popular was unboxing your order, which is actually my favorite. That's my favorite.
Me too.
I think a close second is reading or playing with your order, but there's just that like Christmas morning, like kid feeling, that like just like excitement level.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what it is. It's just really fun to open it up. And then third is shelving your books or displaying your toys. And the most popular is reading new books or posing new toys.
Bleh.
So I think mine is unboxing is number 1. Then reading or posing is number 2. Shelving or displaying is number 3. Making your order it's fine, but it's not the most fun part. That's the part where you pay. It's kind of like, that's not very fun.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the one part I don't really. I wouldn't say I don't enjoy it. It's just not like, yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just not. Unless it's a book I know it's hard to get, or I'm worried it's gonna go out of print, and so I buy it. I'm glad I have it.
So, I think unboxing is number 1, and then reading. Okay, unboxing is number 1. Then realistically, reading and playing with my toys would be number 2, and then making the order is number 4, and then displaying them all. Boy, I do love displaying them, though. I mean, I just showed you the Batgirl, Robin, and Nightwing that I love to display.
It's more fun to display your toys than shelve. I hate having to reshelve. It's just a lot of work. I'm always sweating after I'm done.
Oh, we've talked about
my Marvel shelves are in desperate need of reshelving because I have so many new books that are just at the bottom that need to be put. I've been putting it off because I don't really like that part.
Yeah,
so opening up a new toy and putting it on the shelf is always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but I feel a little bit different about having to shelf books. There's so much rearranging and so much work that goes into it. And some people really do love that, but I just don't really love that aspect of it.
I do love rearranging and shelving and stuff. I will tell Patty that it's time for me to go down because and reshelve things because not only have I gotten new books in, but I've also like pulled a bunch of books out to show for a show, and I need to put them back up, and I like that part. And I see that I am still way behind. Yeah, this is the spring of Omnidog. I didn't have an original PlayStation. I had the PS2, so but I felt like it was Resident Evil 2. Whichever one it was, I couldn't get out of the corner.
It's like you with God of War at the bells.
Yeah, exactly. Rodimus Prime Rib, one of the great names. Chris Original Recipe, my buddy. How's it going? No need to worry, Freddie. I answered it. Joe Goose, I answered that. Taylor, are you going to see Father Stew?
This
What's
is that
that?
new Mark Wahlberg movie
Oh,
where he wants to be. He's like someone who's once he becomes he wants to become an actor, and then he becomes a priest, and he gets this really debilitating disease. It's just like a I don't know, like an encouraging, like uplifting movie. I don't really
oh,
know. It's hard for me to go see movies in the theaters nowadays. Like I saw The Batman. That's the only movie I've seen this year in the theaters, and I pretty much wait for things to come out in streaming or in Redbox at this point. So maybe at some point I will. It's hard for me to go out to the theaters at this point with having 2 young kids. It's a challenging proposition.
yeah.
The next movie I'm going to see in theaters is Doctor Strange.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
I didn't get my advance tickets though, so I probably won't be able to see it till the week after.
I've been planning on getting rid of some of my old comics. Do you guys have any advice for selling comics online?
You do it a lot more than I do, so I'll let you answer that.
If I think that to be successful selling comics online, this is just how I do it. You need to take a lot of pictures. Don't always say see pics for condition, because if you list it at very fine, if you in your opinion it's very fine, you're going to get an argument from somebody and it's going to get sent back. So always say see pics for condition so that somebody else can judge it with their eyes. And if anything, undersell it. Like if you think it's near mint, and you have to grade it, say it's VF / near mint. You always want to undergrade and over deliver, because the buyer is going to be looking at it with a fine tooth comb.
Everyone has different standards. Yeah. Some people don't care. And some people like have like a magnifying glass checking for everything.
Oh, everybody has a magnifying especially with comics where condition is everything. So you want to take good pictures, as you know, the corners, several pictures of the spine, the back cover, the edges, and they have to be good pics so they can make a good choice. And then the next thing you need to do is see if you can. This is where you can sort of grade it in your head. Say it's Hulk 15 that you think is in VG condition. So I would search for that on eBay and then see what they've sold for typically. And then if you want to get rid of it, beat the lowest price. That's what I always do. And my books don't stick around long. If it's a omnibus or collected edition or something, I'll see what the lowest price is, and I'll either throw in free shipping or make sure it's 10 or 20% less, whatever. I'm not putting these books up to make a profit. I'm just the majority of the time I'm putting them out there to get rid of.
Yeah, the thing that sounds stressful to me is whenever and I know you've sold CGC books in the past, that's what's stressful to me, because obviously the grade is there. You can't really change that, but just the value of them compared to collected editions is so much higher. And so there's like more at stake in a way if things don't go the way you want it to. So I bet there's times where it's like for you or for other people who've sold CGC stuff, there's probably some anxiety and trying to get rid of some of these things.
Well, you can't if it's already graded. That's what I like about already graded books is they're graded. You can't argue with 9.0 because that's what CG says it is. So it's not subjective once you get it graded. It's when it's raw that it's subjective.
Yeah, but whenever like it gets lost in the mail, or it's
you have to ensure
not getting there quick, or if it's like, let's say the mailman, like even though it's packaged well, they throw it and it gets cracked. Like I'm sure those things get cracked sometimes, and people get pissed about it.
Well,
so I can imagine that there's some stress because the higher value the thing is, the more anxiety there is with selling it, because you want it to go well. I would think.
Well, you're right about that. I always ask for signature confirmation and insurance on eBay, because eBay will insure it up to a lot, and you can't do that if you're selling by yourself through PayPal, because PayPal has shifted over to ship it or something, a separate shipping service, and I don't know that you can get insurance. UPS and FedEx have a top rate of $100 no matter what it is. So yeah, and if it's just for example, say I sell $1,000 book, I'm going to want to sell it on eBay because I can get that insurance. I'm going to send it priority mail, and I'm going to bubble wrap the heck out of it in a good box that will protect it no matter what. I've had packages come in that are big boxes where all that's left is half the box and the bubble wrapped CGC book sticking out. If it wasn't for the guy's I sent him a picture of it and I said, thank you for packaging it as well. Somehow half the box was missing. It was like somebody took a big chomp out of it and left the comic in.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Okay, just here into Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, Jack Talks Comics.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Even if you're not into this video, still hit the like button on the mobile app for the cool animation when you do it.
You are really behind.
Oh, I'm so far behind. X-Men The Hunt for Professor X is an out-of-print book I've been searching for months now. It's heartbreakingly expensive for a trade. Aha, here's the next clue. I got that book for $15 in perfect condition because I put it in eBay's saved search. And so every time one comes up for sale, you get notified. And yeah, a lot of times it's $80 or $90, but this was just a bookstore that wanted to get rid of it. And it was $15. It was worst case, it was near mint, very fine plus. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It was $15 or $16. So Spoonful of Brody, go to eBay and put that in and save the search. And that's how I found my hunt for Professor X. Listen, I might be mean, but in my defense, I clicked the like button twice. Thank you. That means you took your like away if you click it twice. Here's a good question. Are you going to upgrade?
I'm trying not to upgrade anything at this
That's
point.
right. You did say that.
I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm not someone who needs to have an omnibus. I'm happy for everybody who doesn't have it. I might have those 2 books that have the same stupid cover, but I'll live with it. For the most part, I mean, the biggest thing I care about is what the spine looks like. That's why I see the most.
Yeah.
So it's not really a big deal. I mean, it's fine. I'm just going to keep what I have. There's too many other things that are coming out that are new that I want to buy that I'm not going to be able to get my money back for these if I sell them.
Right.
And so it's not really going to be worth it for me. I'm really trying to limit upgrades at this point. I can't remember the last thing I really upgraded. I'm really trying to cut that out of my life completely.
I know, and I'm trying to do the same thing. Now, this is one that snuck up on me. Oh, the first one is astronomical of the Zdarsky Daredevil 1.
I thankfully got that right when it came out.
Wow.
I got right under the wire. I have it. I just got the second one in. I know so many people who are so bummed about it, but this will definitely get an omnibus at some point. Multiple omnis. So I'm going to have to wait, but I can't imagine a world where this doesn't get an omnibus run.
I agree with that. But I know Joe's pain when you have number 2 of a hardcover and all of a sudden you don't really think that a book, Moon Knight by Lemire went out of print and it's worth $1 billion now all of a sudden, except that it just got released in complete collection. You don't really think about hardcovers going out of print, but they do all of a sudden, and volume 1 is hard to get all over the place. I would encourage you. I'm sure there are stores, maybe, outside your comfort zone, or not your comfort zone, but your
a bad neighborhood.
Yeah, but go to a bad neighborhood LCS where you're definitely going to get robbed. But maybe expand your horizon of where you look. If you and your family are going to Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan or something, and you're driving, try and incorporate a couple of stops in some of the Midwestern towns. For some reason, I think of the Midwest as like this great undiscovered area where all the books are residing that we want. And it's probably not true at all. It shows my West Coast, East Coast mentality. But I know that those books are out there because I bombed down to Charlottesville and got Superior Spider-Man 2. So I know it's worth keep hunting for.
I think that went out of print, the Zdarsky hardcover volume 1, like in less than a week. Like it was crazy. I remember it was because that was back. I don't know if that was last year or the year before, but I mean, you remember for a while it was like if you didn't get something day one, you just didn't get it. I'm not just talking omnis. I'm talking like deluxes. I'm talking a bunch of other stuff. If you didn't get it day one, you might not get it. I remember what was the one? There was like a Hellboy book or something. Oh, it was a Black Hammer book. Remember, we both we both got it right away, and it sold out in 5 minutes. One of the Black Hammer library editions. I remember that.
Was that back during the pandemic?
Yeah, that was back during the early days of pandemic, where it sold out within I think 3 or 4 minutes, and was just gone. That wasn't. Yeah, Tuesdays used to not be so fun with ordering stuff. Thankfully, it's much better now. And that's why you went over to doing pre-orders, even though you're done doing pre-orders now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cleveland Cycle Cleveland has a good question. There's like 8 books in that run. Volume 5 is a little pricey. Most of them are not, I would say, but it depends. Like I'm searching right now because I know I was going to recommend that as something that's worth people searching for. Well, here's Suicide Squad 4. It's $12.95. Okay. I would encourage people to try to find Suicide Squad by John Ostrander. There might be, it's an 8 volume run, and maybe a couple others that I'm not including. I would think that even online they might be easier to find than in stores, but I don't think they're priced too badly. They're not. I think they're lightly out of print online. Hard to find in stores, but reasonably priced online. I'm missing volume 1 of Secret 6. Perfect segue.
I found all 4 of those at that first LCS we went to, Jess. All 4 of them. I got them all in one foul swoop. That was a great feeling. There is no better feeling than finding an out-of-print book in the wild. I can't think. Like, remember what I said to you the day when we were shopping?
But is it the better feeling having a chocolate milkshake in you first?
That's true. But do you remember what I said to you that day?
Something to the effect of we are the 2 happiest people on the planet, or nobody's happier than we are right now.
I said, do you think there's anybody else happier than us right now?
Yeah.
On the face of the earth. And we're like, no, I don't think so.
We had a great chocolate milkshake. And then the first honey hole you took me to was the honey hole.
That was the best one. You asked to go to that one first. Yeah.
Right. And that one was where we hit. I mean, I had a huge stack at that one. You had a good sized pile. And then you keep going back to that one and finding things, I think, right?
Well, here's what the best part was, Jess, for me, is that you at these stores that I go to, it's a chain, and you can get reward. When you buy a certain amount, you get a certain amount of money in your account to spend there. Yeah. And so Jess would have this huge stack and pay so much money. And I remember there were a couple times I didn't have to pay for my books because you bought so much. It was like one point I think I paid like $5, $10 for some of mine. Like,
well, they let me transfer the credit to you. I said,
and the good thing now is, remember back then it was store to store. Now it's chain wide. You can use all the reward points at every single store, and that's really been helpful for me recently.
Yeah, I was glad. I don't know who thought of it, but I'm glad whoever thought of it. I think maybe I just said, "Can I? I don't live here. Can I transfer my credits to my friend who does live here?" And at every one of those comic connections or whatever they were, they said, "Oh, sure." And so, yeah, you definitely got to save.
That was definitely one of the highlights for me.
Let's talk about Secret 6. I know one is a book that one of the stories is in Infinite Crisis, but the rest is not. And there it is.
It exists. Joe Goose.
How hard? Where did you find these? There's 4 of them, right?
Yeah, I found out for it the first honey hole we were just talking about.
Okay.
They were all just they actually they had all. I think at a couple of the other ones, I think they had most of them too. I think I saw them on the shelf. Don't quote me, but they might be some more in Pittsburgh.
Well, then perhaps you and Joe Goose could work out an an omnibus group type transaction where he gives you $500 and you go pick it up for him.
I have to go check, but the best thing I can tell people, we did a video on this maybe a year or so ago. One of the best things people can do that a lot of people don't think about is go on Comic Hub.
Yeah.
And there's LCSs across the country where you can check their inventory on Comic Hub. And sometimes, not all the time, they'll ship you stuff. You might find a store where you have to they'll set it aside and you can pick it up. But if it's across the country, obviously you're not going to do that. But there are some stores where they'll actually ship it to you. So I think it's always worth it to check Comic Hub for these books that you're looking for that are hard to find.
I agree, and I've found 9 times out of 10 they'll ship to you. I have run into it a couple times where they won't, but that's where I would look for Secret 6 Volume 1 is because Minister's Honey Hole is there on Comic Hub, all of them, so you could find it there, Joe. Might have to read digitally until an Omni, Joe. I think we're talking about Daredevil by Zdarsky, although I think Immortal Hulk Volume 1 got a reprint. I think it did.
That's very rare for deluxe editions. Very, very rare.
Yeah, they didn't do it with they didn't do it with Moon Knight by Lemire. They did it in a trade collection, a complete collection. So or paperback collection. So yeah, that is rare, but that there is a chance.
All right, Joe, I looked on Comic Hub. Apparently they're all sold out in Pittsburgh, but there's one in New Hampshire and there's one in Kentucky. So maybe Omar will go pick it up for you.
Joe, go to comichub.com right now and order those books. Order that book before any of these other guys scam you and get there first.
Well, I can't guarantee those comic book shops ship it, though. That's my only thing. I can't guarantee that.
All he needs to do is give them a phone call tomorrow morning or something. They're I don't know, almost 9 o'clock here. But is there anything else you want to talk about Secret 6, since this is one of the ones you wanted to encourage people to look for?
I read it last year. I did a readathon of it. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't read the follow-up New 52 run because I've heard a lot of mixed things. And even you told me it's not really worth picking up. You said you pretty much discouraged me from buying it, basically. I said, do I have to read this to understand this run? You said, no, they're totally different things. They're not connected at all. And that's what I heard from most people. I know some people did enjoy it, but it was a totally different story, totally different characters. So I didn't really feel the need to buy the New 52 stuff.
Yeah.
But I really did enjoy the series overall. I mean, it's really cool. Bane was very different than usual. He's almost a good guy in this run, which is kind of interesting to watch because we're so used to him just pumping himself full of venom and ripping people in half and just always being a major villain. But he was kind of likable in this run. And Catman was definitely the best character. Catman was awesome.
Just thought of 2 books I want to recommend. I have to move Batman Beyond, a figure that I'd never even read or watched anything about.
It's an awesome figure, though.
It is.
That's one of my favorite figures I have.
I believe it. Along that same line, I would like to recommend. This is I just pulled it off the shelf. Is Starfire by Palmiati and Connor. This is, to me, I don't know how many Starfire runs there are, but this is like the definitive Starfire, and since it's written by those 2 great people, Connor and Palmiati, it's great fun. I didn't have any problem finding this. I may have Comic Hubbed one of them, and maybe Starfire #1 was the out of print one, and I got it for, if it's $15, I paid $18 or something. I can't remember, but these are fun. I like these as palette cleansers because not everybody's into Stargirl, but it's really well written with great art, and it's just sort of a really good take on Starfire. If I said Stargirl, I apologize. It's a really good take on Starfire. And I'm sort of a sucker for Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti as writers. I don't think that I've read anything by them yet that I hadn't thought of as at least really, really good. I haven't read anything that I want to pour root beer on yet. This isn't necessarily lighthearted, but it's just an interesting, good, fun read, really well written. And where am I next? The Extreme. Oh, okay. Extreme X-Men Omni dropping in July. Okay.
Is that Omar?
Yeah.
Is that Omar in your mask?
Oh, that's Next Imagina. Is that Omar?
It looks like. Wait, it's definitely not you, unless that's you.
I don't think that's me. You're right.
Unless you dyed your hair for a couple of days, and I didn't realize it.
Next Imagina. Where did you get that picture?
What if he snuck into your basement and that's him in the picture?
It's possible I took the picture for him while he was here, like right when things were going well, before things went south. In 2 hours later.
I like my horror movie pitch better. That is Next Imaginaut in your basement while you're unaware. I like my horror movie pitch, like the guy who lived in your bushes for a while.
Where did you?
You had a stalker for a while, and I said he probably lives in your bushes and he's watching you.
I hate that. I see Batgirl Year One in the thumbnail, which is a great example of Patterson Brooks that definitely shouldn't be. DC never needs to keep any new 52 Batgirl book in print. In their defense, the Stephanie Brown and Cassie Kane runs, which were hard to find trades, did get complete collection type reprints. I kept my old books, but those ones did get reprints. And so it's, I don't know, that's such a good, beautiful deluxe, but who knows? But Paul, if you need that book, I mean, the point of this is don't give up. It's out there somewhere, but it shouldn't be. But DC did do something which I thought was unexpected, releasing those Stephanie Brown and Cassie Kane Batgirl collections.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna do this. They might. They should do an omnibus of that stuff, and even do Batman Year One. Put them all in there in one book. A Year One omnibus.
As long as the spine it's in an omnibus. Okay, yeah.
Come on, omnibus. Put all three of them and maybe even Year One Batman together. That'd be a cool omnibus.
Sazmer, the Master Kung Fu comics won't be reprinted, but the only ones that are hard to find are the DM versions. You can find the regular copies all over the place of those Omnis, all over the place. It's funny how once these are gone, you're right, they are gone, and you're not going to be able to find them. And people are just leaving number 1 and 2 on the shelves. There's 4 of them. And then there's the Masters of Kung Fu 2 books. But yeah, these aren't getting reprinted. And I see the not DM, the regular cover for sale all the time. Mr. Tex, since you thought of this topic, I'll interpret there for you. I have an important question tied to this. Oh, how do you haggle for an Omni when you go to an LCS?
I don't.
If
it's cover, all the LCSs I've gone to, they sell it at cover, and I've never tried to haggle for an omnibus or a hardcover.
No,
I don't know how much wiggle room they'd have with haggling.
I think if you want to haggle on an Omni, your best bet is to take advantage of my code at Organic Price Books and get $2 off that Omni, or 5% off your entire shipment when you ship 3 or more books together with Omnidog. Ship it together. I don't have the stones. I don't have the testosterone. I cannot.
You did haggle for that Harley Quinn statue up in Pittsburgh with the dust on it. The outside dust.
The one covered in outside dust.
You did haggle for that. You got down $10, didn't you? or 20 maybe.
I got it down 20. I got it down to $30. I think originally it was 75, but I saw this is different than an omnibus, though. If you see, okay, this is actually we can actually answer this question. I think if it's an obvious clearance item, you can negotiate. Not only Harley had the original stickers on it, 75 marked down to 60, marked down to 50. She also had it. They didn't even bother dust her, and she was in the front of the store. And I said, "Hey, will you take $30 for this dusty old Harley Quinn?" And he's like, "Oh well, it's dusty because it's here in front. The front door opens and dust comes in that way." And Taylor's like, "Oh yeah, that's the famous Pittsburgh dust, practically the Dust Bowl up here." And so I definitely negotiated down to 30 because I knew they didn't want it. Now, if somebody's got an Omni or a hardcover, I feel like LCS's margins are awfully thin. And if you see it marked down, maybe you can negotiate. I think people are more willing to negotiate on old singles, Bronze Age singles.
And so many people have seen Comic Book Men or Pawn Stars. It's more like Comic Book Men. I don't think haggling happens that much at comic book stores unless you're like bringing in your collection and they're buying it.
Yeah.
Or like you're trying to buy an expensive issue of something. But I think trades and deluxes and omnis, those are kind of a set price for the most part.
Yeah, I think they're fixed price. And Comic Book Men, when they've got an awful lot of key books and stuff there for display. But nobody comes up and tries and haggle on a collected edition. People are saying, will you take $750 for this Green Lantern 76 or something like that?
You can try it. I'm not saying you can't, but
yeah,
I've never tried it personally.
Ryan thinks June 7th is the question releasing.
I'll have to check it out on Comic Releases. Justice from Chris.
Go to comicreleases.com right now and look to see where the question is releasing. One of you in the chat, run like the wind and check it out. We talk about DC's collected editions for a lot of good reasons, but they have a much larger selection of evergreen books than Marvel. This is true.
I think
Goldfish.
There's a trade-off with those two things. DC does have evergreen titles, but a lot of times they focus so much on a select group of titles that they really ignore a lot of other titles that people want. Whereas Marvel doesn't have a ton of evergreen stuff, but they really work hard on publishing a lot of stuff. So there's a trade-off there, I think. They're both good in different ways.
And DC's evergreen titles tend to be in 45 different formats all the time.
Watchmen, Year One, what else? Sandman,
Swamp Thing, Sandman's a big Sandman and Watchmen have to be in. I would like to see if someone could gather the information. How many different formats have Watchmen and Sandman been released in?
Well, Watchmen has multiple trades. They've released with different covers on it. They had a deluxe. They had an absolute. They've had everything basically besides like an omnibus. Well, they had before Watchmen, but that's different material. I guess they never had like an actual omnibus of the original Watchmen because there's not enough material.
There's only 12 issues. I couldn't answer that cycle. I'm afraid to sell my paperbacks yet because I want to make sure that the question actually comes out. I should put the trades on eBay and ask $40 for them or something. But that's a good question. I wouldn't sell your. I don't think singles don't get devalued like trade collections do when an Omni comes out.
I would wait for the question because eventually the question is going to show up in some DC animated movie or show, and that's when things start to tick up.
Yeah.
So follow the news on that kind of stuff. I think you might be able to sell it for. It's not going to be like a ton of money, but sell it more for than what you have right now.
Okay, well, here's never sell before the new book is released. That okay, but we answered your question, Cycle. Marcelo's talking more to me with my trades. I agree with Taylor that if we're lucky, Question won't get a CW series. He'll get like an HBO Max series or something, and that'd be the time to unload those.
Is there a time where you've sold a series in anticipation of a collected edition and end up getting canceled, and you were so angry?
No, I got lucky on that because I remember Gotham City Sirens was got published back in 2000, maybe 19 or something, 2018 maybe, and I had I can't remember. It was so long ago. I can't remember if they were trades or hard. I think they were thin hardcovers, and they were very hard to find. And I sold those as soon as DC made the announcement, which was stupid because that is back when DC was announcing things left and right and then canceling. I got lucky there, and I think now I haven't. DC hasn't been canceling like they were in the past. I think everything not everything, but things that solicit that just get pushed back because of reasons, the COVID reasons that everybody knows about. I really should put my Question books up for sale. Batgirl Year One Deluxe. I need that. Okay. Go to comichub.com and type in Batgirl Year One Deluxe and see if there's a comic store that will deliver it to you. I know they're out there because I just ran into it. Yeah, DC cancels on you, but I don't think recently. I feel like that's kind of a policy of the past.
One that kept getting pushed back for I think like a year and a half was Batwoman Omnibus. Like that was almost a year and a half of getting pushed back. It was at least 3 times it got pushed back.
I felt for sure that wasn't going to get released.
I think we both predicted it wouldn't because we were like, "This is crazy." I never seen something pushed back that much. Ever.
Right. I agree.
I think it was a year and a half of just constantly being pushed back.
Yeah.
I guess they needed that time to select the worst cover they could for the omnibus. Like, what's the one cover we can do that everyone would hate? Let's do this one.
See all these nice J.H. Williams covers that are so beautiful? Forget them. Let's just pick this one boot in your face one. Yeah. Well, I don't. Can you think of some more that have been canceled?
That was a bummer. I was disappointed in that.
I wanted that too.
I really wanted that.
I wanted that too. I want that to be resolicited. But I mean, I'm just saying that, and I'm also, how far behind am I? I'm 20. Oh my God, I'm 40 minutes behind in. I'm 40 minutes behind in this. Let's talk about another book and let me get caught up.
So that was your first choice with Starfire, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Something that I found.
showed Batgirl Year One.
Something I found on your trip to Pittsburgh last fall that I was excited about is the Question books by Greg Rucka. These are both really good. My only complaint is that they're not long enough. I wish there was more. So that's always a good complaint to have, that it's so good. I wish there was more to it. So there's the Question, the 5 books of blood. There's this first trade where Renee Montoya is the Question in this run, and she has to deal with the religion of crime, which I think is a really underutilized organization in DC that hasn't been covered enough. Greg Rucka obviously had that be the centerpiece of his Batwoman run, with Kate Kane having to go up against the religion of crime. But this first book's really interesting. I like the second one even better, Pipeline. Is this the one that you got too, Jess, while you were here?
I did. Yeah, that's hard to find. A little harder to find than anything else. And I grabbed a copy because I didn't have that.
This is great Cully Hamner art as well.
Yeah, that's my favorite book of the two. I love them both, but that's my favorite book.
Yeah, the art is just awesome in this. This one has different artists, I think, for each issue. I like the consistency of art in this book. My only complaint is I wish Greg Rucka had done more of this. So these are, I don't know how readily available these would be. I know they're out of print, but I'm sure they wouldn't be too hard to find. We both found a copy of this while we were in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I found this copy as well. And there was an extra copy I didn't pick up that was there. So they're available somewhere.
And I think 5 Books of Blood also has a hardcover edition that's probably rarer. But Pipeline is the harder one of those to find, which is why I was surprised we saw it in a store.
We both found a copy. That was really cool.
That's amazing. I think Books of Blood is probably easier to find, but to Taylor's point, both worth searching and getting into your collection. Because they're really, 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 really good stories. Okay, we're back on Superior Spider-Man. Marcelo, wait, what's Marcelo Ramos saying now? Oh, yeah, no, I'm not a big Jurgens fan, and I'm not a big Thor fan. The only Thor I like, this goes back to a question. Let's see, who asked this? He's not a big fan of Jurgens either. Mr. Tex, yeah, no, I'm just not a big fan of Thor in general. The Jason Aaron run is the first one I really enjoyed. Peace and love to the Walt Simonson run, but the Jason Aaron run is the first one I enjoyed. And
what about the Mighty Thor by Chris Samnee? Did you enjoy that?
Oh yeah, that is good too.
That's
is that the digest size one?
I have the regular size one.
We're both included.
Yeah, now that is one I should have included in my list.
It's not too late.
That is true. I'll go grab it.
Yeah, well, I'll answer questions. Oh dear!
So
wow,
I got this book.
God, Tom King Deluxe is out of print and pricey. I didn't know that.
So I got this for I think like $10 at Half Price Books, and it's in great condition.
Okay, oh boy, I'd rather have that than the digest ones, but that's a great book.
And the cool thing about this is it's like an all ages comic. This is definitely a book that my son can read in a couple of years. Like it's really not just for adults, not just for teens. It's definitely a book that your whole family can enjoy. And Chris Samnee's art, I mean, how could you ever have a complaint against Chris Samnee? This is a really heartwarming and really great introduction to Thor if you don't know much about him. So I would definitely include this on my list. I'm pretty sure Jess would as well.
Yeah. I wasn't aware of the out of print nature of it. Some of these Rebirth books are going out of print, apparently. We had Tom King's Volume 5 of Batman and Rucka's Wonder Woman Volume 1.
And that's a line that's not going to come back. Once they do Volume 5 of Tom... Wait, is it Volume 6? Oh, Volume 6. Volume 6 is the last one in July. That's going to come out. So once that happens, that's the last one they're doing of that entire run. It doesn't even have the Rebirth trade dress anymore on it.
Oh, and so it's not going to match 1 through 5?
Well, 5 and 6 don't match. I mean, 4 and 5 don't match. They have the blue square at the top. So it's like, even my wife who doesn't care about comics walks by, like, that annoys me. Why do they do that? I'm like, everyone says that, not just you. Everyone has no idea why DC decided to do that.
I'm also looking for the Kate's Omnibus. That hasn't been released yet?
Maybe he's saying I'm looking forward to it.
I'm also okay, because I think that's getting released in
this summer.
This summer, I feel like.
Yeah, there's going to be the King in Black Omnibus and the Omnibus.
Yeah, Kate's Omnibus I pre-ordered, but was going to pre-order King in Black Omni, but decided to skip that event as the miniseries is included in the Omnibus. Okay.
That's a good choice because I just read that run, just finished it today. All you need is the King in Black and the Venom issues to go along with it. You don't need anything else to understand the main story.
Oh, Craig Stewart understands me. Dying while reading a comic would be a pretty way to go out, to be honest.
Yeah, Jess said if he could die anywhere in the world, it'd be right where he is.
Uh-huh.
You can go sit in one of those chairs in front of the TV and just shuffle off this mortal coil.
Let's see.
There's probably so many people have gone to sleep or left the chat that you're answering their questions. They're not even here anymore.
It's just not the Garth Ennis books. That's one thing. That's another thing that I was surprised that went out of print. A lot of them are the Hellblazer books. A lot of those have gone out of print really fast. Like they're all
There's 26 of them.
Sorry?
There's 26 of them.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure they make less and less with each one they solicit.
It's the ones like from 15 on up that are hard to find, I think.
I'm sure there's a ton load of like volume 1 or something like that because they make the most of volume 1 and volume 2, and then with each subsequent volume they make less and less because they assume people will buy less.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm catching up. Omnidog. Okay. Where's your? Okay, it's right here. East of West Final 2022 reprint assertion. I think that might be a misnomer. I don't. Not sure. Are you using misnomer correctly? Hey Siri. What's the definition of misnomer?
Misnomer means a wrong or inaccurate name or designation.
I thought it should have known better than to challenge the next Imaginaut. Okay, misnomer is correct. I have been able to track down any confirmation of that anywhere, and he previously widely announced that the 2021 reprints were going to be the final printings. Well, son of a gun.
Well, maybe Omar knows. Give me your thumbnail.
Yeah, I imagine it's hard to be overseas and waiting. Oh, no, you're just waiting 3 months for your book to ship from whenever you get it.
I did see someone, I think it was IQ, like 30 minutes ago. Don't look for it. He basically said, well, this all must be easier when you live in the United States. And yeah, that is easier. So it is harder to find out to print stuff when you're overseas. That's not something you could argue against, really. It is more difficult.
Oh, I think they're lucky. I think they're happy when they can find just regular books.
Now, you can find things on eBay and stuff, but again, you might have to pay higher prices for shipping. Well, you will have to pay higher prices for shipping if it's in the U.S., but definitely in the U.S., we do have it easier trying to find these out-of-print books. That's for sure.
Heroing 2.0, I'm going to skip your question at 8:38 because I haven't read the Reckless book yet. Taylor got it in, read it, and I don't have I don't want to talk about it yet till I've read it. So hit us up in 2 weeks and I'll have it by then. Stimson J. Cat, what's up from 8:43?
Was that profile picture a sorry board?
Is that sorry?
Trouble. I'm sorry, Trouble. Yeah,
Trouble.
I always loved that game as a kid.
Legacy Volume 2 is hard to find. And the other one's Batman or Bruce Wayne Murderer or Fugitive? Murderer.
Oh, wait, it's about Fugitive and Murderer?
Yeah, I'm just
What
switching
about
over to Batman books.
Oh, I was confused. Okay. I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
sorry.
what does that have to do with Legacy? Yeah, I think Fugitive is the one that's hard to find, the thick Fugitive trade. I think the Murderer trade is it's out of print, but you can find it at places. I saw a bunch whenever we were doing our LCS.
Okay,
run.
yeah.
I saw at least 4 or 5 copies.
Fugitive
is hard
is
to
the
find.
one you're looking for, right?
Yeah, because Murder is first. And so again, they make more of the first, and they make less of the second. That's true for pretty much everything. And so that's why you find that it's always easy to find the first volume of something, and then it's the third or fourth one's like impossible.
And that's why Primetime's having problems finding Volume 2.
Right. It's just very rarely is Volume 1 the hardest one to find. It can happen, but it's not usually the case.
Just I always wanted to know from Inman40, I always wanted who I still think looks like that picture there. Why don't more people use UPS to ship on eBay? Occasionally I see some people using it, but might it be too expensive? Yes, it is more expensive. Dropping it off for them to pack it up. Drop. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like taking it to the UPS store and having them box it up. It's more expensive and they don't offer insurance. So I always want signature confirmation and insurance if it's worth even over $150. If I'm shipping somebody a couple books or whatever I've sold, there's just too much porch piracy that goes on, and people will take advantage of you that way. I'm not saying that people don't get books stolen, but how do you know? They say, hey, my book didn't come. And you're like, well, I sent it and it tracked to your house. Yeah, but it's not here. What are you going to do? So I always, UPS does offer signature confirmation, but not much in the way of insurance, $100, and it's more expensive to ship. Now, the other thing is UPS and FedEx will get your books there guaranteed, whereas USPS can't guarantee that.
Yeah, UPS I've always had good luck with.
Yeah. Jess, you recommended, I think, Dial H for here. I found it for next to nothing at Ollie's. That's not a book for everyone, but it was one of DC's earlier hardcovers that I really liked. I liked it, but I will say it's out there, like Doom Patrol out there. So I'm glad you found it, and I hope you enjoy it. Since you didn't pay much for it, if you don't, I won't feel bad. But it's one of those kind of books that are, Gerard Way type of writing. It's by China Melville, and I liked it. So, but I don't like. I mean, I like weird things too. I think Gotham Central might potentially be going out of print already. I can't see it for sale anywhere in the UK, at least. Well, do things come out before us in the overseas?
I don't know. That just came out this past week, and it's very rare for DC to sell out that quick. It's on IST right now. Let me check Organic Price Books.
Well, he's in the UK, and so I don't know. Have you? It's not for sale. Sorry?
Isn't Forbidden Planet a big seller for people in the UK that they buy from?
Yeah.
I'll have to check there.
I'm surprised it's not available online. If it's been released in the UK, I'm surprised it hasn't been released online.
It's hard for me and Jess to speak to things that are happening in the UK with what you guys. It's hard I just don't really know. I can only speak to what I buy and what I see over here. So it's hard for us to say, really.
I hate to say it, but there are plenty of copies here in America. I apologize.
It's very rare. For the last time I could think of a DC omnibus selling it right away was Wonder Woman by Gail Simone, and that was pandemic related. That's still like my holy grail is that book.
Yeah.
I missed it. Was day one. It was gone.
Yeah. That was the pandemic. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Going back to my Midwest ignorant comment. LOL. I wish it was like that in the Midwest. Speaking as someone who lives in the Midwest, there is like no LSCs in the region, and it's hit and miss for collected edition finds. That's true. As Taylor said, we're in like a niche of a niche of a niche with collected editions.
And I'm around a major city. I live like 15 minutes down the road from a major city. I know you don't have a ton in your area, but I mean,
I think I'm in a major city, and I got jack compared to you.
That's pretty rare, though. I'm just saying. I'm surprised that there's not as many.
I think you've got more than New York City.
I don't know about that, man. That's a ton in New York City. We do have a lot, though.
Paul Baker is calling into question. I wouldn't be so sure about a DD omnibus. Immortal Hulk still doesn't have one. One thing I will say that I have heard Omar say, that they wait for I think Immortal Hulk still has volume 5 to come out.
That doesn't come out till November, so I don't think they're going to solicit it until after that.
They wait until Marvel waits until a run is completely done. This is according to Omar, that they wait until a run is completely done and then they'll omni it. And so I will take that bet, and I will say you'll see an Immortal Hulk omni next year. And that you will see once Zdarsky's done and he's the final trade paperback has come out or the final oversized hardcover, then you will get a DD omnibus. Paul, write this down, write this date down, and get back to me in 2 years.
I'll put it this way, Jess. Am I a pretty frugal person?
You are the most frugal person I know.
That's not true. Who is your other very frugal friend you used to do Spider Days with?
Oh, Omnidog.
Chad Omnidog is much more frugal.
No, okay, wait. That's a level of psychosis that he has.
Okay, the reason I say that is I bet my life savings that we get an omnibus of that run. I'm not of Zdarsky's Daredevil. I'm not. I bet everything that I have in my name that there will be omnis of that run, because every other Daredevil run that's really popular has something.
Paul, you're about to inherit the entire fortune of the minister if it doesn't happen.
I am a minister, so it's not much of a fortune, but I'm saying I would be stunned. I feel like there's a 0% chance that it won't get an omnibus at some point. Multiple omnis. It's going to happen.
Yeah. All recent DD runs are.
If Charles Soule's run got it, and that's not nearly as popular as Zdarsky's is, it's definitely going to get it.
Joe, make your trip to Pittsburgh and tell me when, and we'll all meet up there and have a Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh because, well, I had a guide, so that helped. But we could have a blast going to honey holes, and there's some that I mean, there's like 10 we still haven't gone to.
15 probably.
15, yeah.
Whenever you're typing Pittsburgh into your GPS, make sure to add the H at the end. You don't want to go to the wrong place.
Yeah, you'll end up in Scotland. Omnidog, I just ordered Irredeemable Omnibus via Amazon. Let's see what you say is the best. Let's see what you. Okay, let's see if it's true. Basically, that I say it's the best comic ever made. Okay, Joe's going now to Pittsburgh. I stand by my comment, and it's actually my favorite comment, but it was an early attempt at clickbait. So I wanted to say this is the best, because you can't argue with my favorite, but you can argue with the best. But nobody argued with me, so it was worthless clickbait. It was unclickbait.
What's your next book that you'd pick, Jess?
I would pick.
Books. This
is a run that is easily found for not much money. Still, I don't know why it hasn't had an Omni. We even had Jeff Parker on the show, and we didn't address the Omni part of it.
Let me guess what it is. Is it Red Hulk?
Why, it is. Good guess.
Look at those spines looking so great together.
And then you've got Red She-Hulk, which is a great. There's only 2. I wish he had been written to allowed to be written more copies of it, because Red She-Hulk is fantastic. And these Red Hulk books, these were one of the original recommendations. You need to piece them together unless you find them on eBay, but I saw lots of these in Pittsburgh, and I pulled them off the shelf thinking, whoa, what's this doing here?
And Gen 13.
So, I might be able to get my money back selling those Gen 13 paperbacks.
That was like one of your biggest things you were looking for too. I was trying to fill in the chunks of Gen 13.
Yeah, and then I read it.
I was like, yes, are you sure you want to buy this all if you're read it? Oh, I know I'm gonna like it.
Famous stupid words. Yeah, Red Hulk by Jeff Parker.
Why is Dracula in there? Oh,
because Hulk visited Dracula as part of Fear itself. It makes sense.
Okay.
The spine doesn't match, but it makes sense as part of the run. So here they are, and you definitely can still find these easily, and it is great Red Hulk material. I will say I do not have big Red Hulk knowledge. This is where a lot of my knowledge comes from. I understand how big of a deal the reveal was as to who Red Hulk was. That sounds boss, but these are easy to get into and really fun to read. I loved these books. I'm going to keep them. Who knows if they're going to get into an Omni or even extra collections. I don't know if they're orphans or not. They're not hard to find online, and they're cheap, and even better if you can find them in an LCS. If you're willing to go to the site that has funded Jeff Bezos's multi-quadrillion-dollar yacht, you can even get a bunch of these from Half Price Books, I bet. And don't forget to get Red She-Hulk, because she tops it off brilliantly.
Yeah, Jeff Parker hasn't had much luck in the oversized edition format.
He does have Batman 66.
That's true.
I don't know what other book I
have a hardcover of his James Bond stuff. 2 hardcovers, but those are standard size, I think.
Yeah.
Those are great books, though. James Bond Origin. Those are great.
Oh. Omnidog taught me how to swim when I was drowning. Thanks, Omnidog. Natural Bridge. I'm glad I was there when it was happening. Jumped in the water in my coat and tie, no problem.
Thanks, Mean Joe.
Doctor Strange for Donny Cates OHC went pretty quick too, from what I remember. I had to settle for the 2 trade paperbacks, but still a great story.
That's true.
But yeah, that's true. With Jason Aaron's getting an Omni, I love Donny Cates' run, just not as much, but pretty close. He did a good continuation. Haven't read Mark Waid's interpretation yet, but I would think Donny Cates being their, if he's not their number 1 writer, I don't know who is.
It definitely is him.
Yeah, I would think they'd want to keep him happy and make an Omni out of that.
I feel like the 2 like golden children there right now are him and Chip Zdarsky and Al Ewing. Those guys seem to really have.
I agree. Yeah. Well, because they write great and their stuff sells.
Well, Zdarsky's doing well. I guess Zdarsky's doing more DC stuff now. I think all he's doing at Marvel is Daredevil at this point, but still, that's a great run that a lot of people love.
Yeah.
I can't believe Zdarsky's going to do Batman, the main series. That's awesome. That's going to be amazing. He's doing Batman, Daredevil at the same time. My 2 favorite characters. One of my favorite writers. What a great time to be a Chip Zdarsky fan.
What a time to be alive. Agree to disagree on that Starfire run. Boy, that was a while ago. Okay.
It's not his fault. It was a while ago.
No, it's my fault. Everything's coming up Omar, isn't it? No, is that who that is, Omar? It's from your team up episode when Omar came to visit you and you stepped upstairs to either use the bathroom or let your dog out. Oh.
That was when he destroyed your room.
No, he waited till I came back for that.
He wanted you to witness it.
Yeah.
Well, my next pick for out of print book, I know Jess will agree with this. I found these at one of my honey holes, and that is Black Ring. This is a fantastic series that nobody ever talks about.
Right.
I think it's like you and Nate Burkholz, and that's it. They're the only people who ever talk about this run.
Love
this is post Blackest Night, whenever Lex Luthor had the orange ring, which is basically only Larfleeze can have.
Larfleeze, yeah.
He's looking for that power, that kind of power again, and he's looking all throughout the universe. It's pretty much Lex Luthor hopping throughout the DC universe and encountering powerful beings. And there's a scene with Gorilla Grodd with a spoon. That's one of the funniest things I've read in the past couple of years. Do you remember that part, Jess?
Oh, yeah.
Kneel before Grodd. You have walked into my ambush. I have brought my biggest combat spoon to eat your tasty brains. If you don't like that page, you don't like comics, basically. That is awesome. I will say at the end, there definitely is some crossover with another series, Superman Reign of the Superman or something, that I was a little bit confused by, but nothing that ripped me out of the book completely. But it was still and the ending with Lex Luthor was one of the most powerful encounters between Clark and Lex I've ever read in comics or seen on film or seen in TV shows. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend these. There's these trades or the hardcovers.
Now this spun out of Blackest Night, right?
Right, because remember he had the orange, the orange ring, and he was just hungry for that power. Because remember the orange is greed.
Yeah,
so he's greedy for that power, and he wants to find something comparable to that. And the coolest thing about this run is that he has a sidekick, and it's Lois Lane, but it's not really Lois Lane. It's like an android version of Lois Lane. And the way they talk and just banter back and forth is fantastic. I just love this run. Totally underrated. And I can never, ever see DC do a deluxe edition of this. So you're definitely have to find this in the wild somewhere. I can't imagine a world that's going to be collected in any other format.
Dude, let's see.
So there's these paperbacks and the standard size hardcovers.
I have the standard size hardcovers. Yep. No, I think he's right. I don't see it ever. Yeah. You guys can find it, and you should find it. It's great reading. Great reading.
Just for that Gorilla Grodd page alone.
Yeah.
They want to eat their tasty brains with a big combat spoon.
Jess, I used your code for a 3-book order. Thank you, buddy. Thrill reviews. Are the IDW Ninja Turtles really worth it? I almost pulled the trigger and bought all the books yesterday, but I don't know yet. I'm going to make it quick. Geo from A Week in Geekdom. I was going to say Near Mint Condition. A Week in Geekdom suggested that book to me. So I bought the first IDW book. I have no background in Turtles. Never saw anything. Cartoon, movie, TV, read anything.
Jess is not a shellhead.
Not a shellhead. And so I went into this series blind. I didn't know that the Turtles wore different colored eye masks. I didn't know who any of the characters were. Splinter, I think I probably called him Sphincter at first. He was Splinter.
You had no idea what their favorite food was, pizza. You had no idea.
I may have known that, but my point is, it is one of my all-time favorite reads because it was such a surprise that I enjoyed it. I didn't know anything about Turtles, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought 12 was the end. Is it 12 or 13?
13 is going to be the end.
13 is going to be the end. And
wait, is it 13?
I feel like I have 13.
Anymore.
What is that?
Maybe it's 14 then. I don't know.
TMNT 13. Okay, so I think 14 is the last one.
Because you're not planning to keep those, right?
Maybe. I don't know yet.
Because I was told that you'd sell them to me. By you.
Once I get done, I am gonna probably sell him to Taylor because I think he has more of an affinity for the Turtles. You know, guys your age grew up with them and stuff. But I don't regret buying them at all. They're beautiful books. They have a ribbon, beautiful binding, gorgeous art, and the story's great. I love the story, and I knew nothing about them. So the answer is, pull the trigger, get them all, and love them. I did. So can you. Camelot 3000 should be an evergreen title from DC. I love Camelot 3000. Quick question for everyone. If Marvel were to do Absolute editions like DC, what stories would you want to see in Marvel Absolute?
Well,
Marvels.
Yeah, they already did that though, kind of. What was that? What was that edition called? The huge one you can't take off your shelf?
Yeah, the Titanium edition.
That's definitely. I can't think of anything more that would deserve an absolute of that from Marvel, but they kind of already have it. I got the deluxe. Somebody told me where to get the deluxe. It might have been Hayden in the States. He searched for me, and I got the deluxe so I can really read the thing. Because that's not even a coffee table book. That's a floor book. It's just hard because Marvel isn't known for their like one and done miniseries like DC is. Like they have absolutes of Kingdom Come and All-Star Superman and New Frontier. They just have more of those one and done stories where Marvel tends to do more runs. And if things are short, they tend to get canceled. They did have 3 volumes for Absolute Promethea. They definitely do series, that's for sure. Yeah, but I think that you're right. They're more 12-issue type miniseries that have fantastic art, and that's the only reason to get an Absolute is because you love the art. How about Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson? Getting an Absolute? Seeing that in oversized format, those pages were great. That was a fun book, and I want to make sure I don't forget about it at the end of the year. That's why I have things on Goodreads now, so I don't forget that stuff, because I want to make sure that's top 10. That's one of my books of the year, along with the Flintstones. The Flintstones might be my number 1 book of the year so far. Yeah, I can see that. I love that book. I'm not seeing anything off my shelf that's popping for an Absolute run. For DC, for Marvel, because you have to really commit to it. Now, there are some that have multiple absolutes, but you really have to commit to it. Some of these Marvel books. Yeah, you can't get what Spider-Man run? Ooh, The Vision by Tom King. That's a good idea. And we have the deluxe, but we're talking about absolute. That's bigger. So I would. Or what about Superior Foes of Spider-Man? Oh, that'd be great. I love that book. I need to read that book. I need to read that again this year. I definitely need to reread that. I feel like that's a book I found in Pittsburgh.
So I think it's still out there, and it's cheap. It's only like a $40 Omni, or $40 or $50 Omni. I think that it has the reputation of being really hard to find, but I think you can find that online for reasonable price. And I found it at the store. That's not a book I would overpay for. As much as I love it, I don't think it's hard to find, and I bet it'll get reprinted at some point.
They should do an absolute of Spider-Man Life Story and Spider Shadow. Both are fantastic.
Agreed. Agreed. And Friendly Neighborhood.
They have to do an omnibus of the other Zdarsky Spider-Man stuff. His Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Some of those are out of print.
Yeah, they are. Kratos saying, hey, good night, guys. When does the new reprint of Death of Superman come out, and also the Jason Aaron Thor? I would have to direct you to comicreleases.com. Go to comicreleases.com, and they will have that listed. I don't have it here unless Taylor's looking it up right now.
I'm picking up the Jason Aaron Thor Volume 5 Deluxe, which already came out. So that's the format I'm deciding to pick.
Same with me.
I'm not really following with the omnibus. Both of them.
Death of Superman, I pre-ordered, so I'll get that in 2024. You'd have to look at Comic Releases to find that out. I don't retain that particular knowledge. Comicreleases.com is a great site.
You know, it should be reprinted alongside Death of Superman. Your interview on TV about Death of Superman should be reprinted. I want to see that.
Oh boy!
I'm surprised did you ever tape that on TV or something?
It was back when we had VCRs and VHS, and the tape got degraded. We watched it so much.
That's too bad, because you could have transferred it over to DVD when you were doing your transfer of your show.
Right, but it got degraded before we had that chance.
Gotcha.
Because that happened in 94? And I feel like we transferred over things like 2010. So I got interviewed at a comic book store during the Death of Superman, and I said, I hope everybody remembers that he is a made-up character, and I don't really think he's dead. And then she goes, and you, sir, what's your opinion? That's not what they wanted to hear, but they still put it out. I really should get the Batwoman Omnibus. It looks like such a good comic. Heard amazing things. Yes, you should.
The only disappointing thing is the ending, just because both creators didn't get to finish their runs the way they wanted to. I think it ends on a somewhat satisfactory note. It just wasn't nearly as good as it could have been at the very end. But the other stuff before that is fantastic.
Rodimus Prime right here for you, buddy. Death and Return comes out in May. Jason Aaron Thor in the last week of April. Okay, we're still back at Rucka in the pipeline and stuff. Haven't read yet because unsure if I want the 52 Omnibus. I read them. I've already forgotten what happened in 52, and I read those separately and was fine.
Speaking of Greg Rucka, one of the books on my list is Wolverine by Greg Rucka. Have you read this, Jess?
I have not. I own it, but I haven't read it.
You got to read it. It's fantastic. It's a really underrated Wolverine run that a lot of people don't really know about or have read. It's in the beginning, it's almost like Wolverine as a detective tracking people down. And it was really, really interesting. Great art by Derek Robertson, and then by Leandro Fernandez. And it's Greg Rucka, so obviously it's going to be great. So this is definitely a run that's hard to find. This is definitely one of my holy grails, like in the thumbnail that I made.
Where did you get that?
The main honey hole we went to.
Oh, that's right.
I sent to you. I told you. I said, Jess, I found this Wolverine book online on Comic Con with my honey hole. You said, get in your car right now and drive there, because this book is really hard to find.
It is
very hard to find. It's probably
And did you do that? Did you get it within like a week?
I said, Kate, can I leave right now and just go? She's like, yeah, it's fine.
So it really happened.
It really happened. I left right after you texted me that.
Oh, good.
Because remember, I was looking at this for a long time.
A long time.
So this might be the hardest book on my list to find. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's definitely one of them. But it could still be out there for you.
I think I felt like that was hard to find back in like 2018. So, but you found it, so it's
Right.
out there.
Right. And you never know when something pops up on eBay or on Amazon secondary market. It's important to check back on these things every once in a while. Isn't there something that you use, Jess, with the camel in the title that it tracks the cost of certain things that helps you with this?
Yeah, that's for Amazon. Camel, camel, camel.
Okay, that's for Amazon. That could be for the secondary market too, right?
Yeah.
So that could be helpful if you're looking for this on Amazon, the secondary market, and you want to be notified if it comes up for a reasonable price.
Yeah, and if it comes up from half price books and it just says the condition is good, which they all do, every half price books lists everything in good. I would say 48 out of the 50 times I've ordered that way, the books have been pristine. Only twice have I been disappointed, and it was actually good. But they just blanketly say good. And if you find Wolverine by Greg Rucka for $35-40 or something good from an HPB, I would get that every day of the week.
What's your next book, Jess?
I still think these books are easy to find because I saw them a lot in Pittsburgh. And they're not, DC's made an attempt at collecting it and it was a disaster. There's 7, how many volumes? 7 volumes. And 1 and 2 are the hardest to find. I saw them, Pittsburgh was filthy with them. Bat and dust. That's Hitman, volumes 1 and 2. A Rage in Arkham and 10,000 Bullets is the name of number 2. First of all, Hitman is one of the great books that Garth Ennis has written. Funny, violent. Now the art's kind of not my cup of tea, but the writing is so strong. It's very, I feel like this is almost 80s drawings. When did this come out?
But the only thing people really need is the Hitman greatest hits, right, Jess?
Oh my gosh, that's where they dropped the ball so hard. 1993 is when it came out. So it's, but Hitman's such a good book that the art's fine. I mean, the writing is so fun, and I think you can still get these because I thought 1 and 2 were like $60 and $70 books or something. They were all over the place for cover price. You should not have a problem finding these, and you need to go find them because they're great. And DC botched the collection of it. They're not going to get collected properly. Get these books. Hitman is super fun. He's amoral. He's got place of Gotham City, Dark Knight, Detective, he kills without remorse and is hilarious about it. It's just fantastic. You like this book too, right?
I don't have it now.
You don't have it? We just ran across 1 and 2 all over the place.
I know, but there's 7 of them, so that's hard to track down all of them.
Oh, Taylor, where did your mother and I go wrong with you? Okay, so yeah, Hitman, volumes 1 and 2. Definitely look for those. And I'll try and get caught up to like 9 o'clock. We are here at what time? 9:16. Okay, I'm getting there. Taylor Omnidog. Yes, Marvel desperately needs to reprint Sam Nee's various non-DD Marvel runs in an Omni or Deluxe. Still here. Yeah, we agree. Here's a good question. Let's break it up. Sorry, guys, it's off topic, but what are your opinions on Black Hammer? Go.
I enjoy it, but I want them to stop so I can stop having to buy these these library editions. Because
I thought you were saying I have an answer. You're pointing to your collection.
Yeah, I'm pointing to them. Right, the Black Hammer stuff is right here. I really enjoy Black Hammer. It's just there's so many series and so many library editions. I hope it's good. I think they are going to end it soon. I think I could be wrong because they're doing one called The End, but you never really know. I really enjoy them. I think some of the World of Black Hammer stories are just okay, and there's some that are fantastic. Like Dr. Andromeda, that made me bawl more than any other comic I've ever read in my entire life at the very end. That was an emotionally impactful book. But a book like, I can't remember what the title was. The one by, what was his name? There's one of this, by Matt Kent, I really didn't enjoy. I don't like his art to begin with.
Yeah.
Do you remember what story I'm talking about? I think it's Black Hammer 44.
Oh, Black Hammer 45.
45. That one, I just didn't.
About the African American. Oh, I love that book. The African Americans in World War II.
I didn't like it. I thought the art was just so terrible. I just hated it. I hated the art so much that it really just ripped me out of the story.
Okay,
and
that's fair.
I think for the most part, the World of Black Hammer is really good, but some stories are much better than others. But I really enjoy having all the library editions on my shelf.
I feel the same way Taylor does, although I think I like more of it than he does, and I'm also okay if more of it gets into library editions because I'm insane. But I definitely like a vast majority of the stories and consider it I think it's groundbreaking material that it paid such an homage to early 60s DC Comics. I feel like it's a love letter to DC's Silver Age without having any of the Silver Age baggage. And I feel like it was a real passion project of Jeff Lemire, which comes through to me in how great the stories are and how inventive it is. And I just dig the homage, especially the covers that remind me of the singles covers that remind me so much of early DC covers. So our opinion is get it all.
It's definitely a series that somebody who doesn't know superhero history that well probably wouldn't appreciate because there's so many Easter eggs in there and so many, like you said, homages to different superhero names or superhero arcs. Or
Yeah,
like the reboot they did, that kind of stuff. It was just really cool to see Jeff Lemire kind of celebrate and also lampoon comics at the same time.
and he created his own. Sorry, he created his own universe too,
Right?
which he can do anything with. Which I know it sounds like you want it to stop, but if it's
not that I want it to stop. It's just at some points, sometimes it's like my collection is getting so big and I have so little space. It's like, okay, I loved it, but come on, no more. Just do like one or two more. I don't want like 20 of them because I'll buy them all because like Jeff said, I'm an idiot. So I really
I didn't say you were an idiot.
Well, we're both idiots.
Yeah, well, okay, fair.
What I'm saying is I like it so much that I will buy them if they come out, but I'm kind of hoping they don't do too many more because I don't have that much space left. I'll put it that way.
Right. Warren, I'm still salty about DC making Stormwatch Omni-style collections in the original run from Jim Lee for Europe, which we in the U.S. don't even get collected. And you're not going to get any sympathy from any Europeans in this chat for that. Hi, Dylan Verne. Comic Bound. Yeah, I don't know. Your luck is going to be tough on finding the OHCs of that. I think Fade Out has a complete collection type thing out now. But if you're jonesing for the OHCs, I'm not sure what. I don't know that there are any in the wild anymore, and just scalpers selling them the OHC. I haven't seen the Fade Out OHC since I bought it for my sister for Christmas, and that was like 2018.
It's a great book, though.
Oh, gosh, I love that book. Okay. Porch piracy isn't a thing here. Packages don't just get dumped like that. Porch piracy is when they get stolen. And I know you live in perfect Europe, so people are nice there and don't steal from your porches. And we're back on USPS. Gosh, I'm way behind. USPS is awful, especially if your stuff comes from Jersey. My God, it takes forever to get from there. Are any of you upgrading to the new Gotham Central corrected omnibus?
That omnibus is too big for me. I'll stick with my trades that I have.
And I didn't even notice anything was missing in my Omni, so I'm going to go ahead and stick with it.
There's just an issue where one of the detectives talks about it. Oh man, it's really coming down. It's really snowing hard, and they didn't put any snow in the panel at all.
And
so they put the new snow in. So that's the only thing that's different. That's it.
I ain't upgrading for that.
Ed Brubaker, I read his most recent newsletter. He's been begging them to do that for years. He said it bothers him. He's a control freak, and he hates when that kind of stuff happens.
Well, I believe it.
He's so happy now that it's happened. That would bug me too. That's like, okay, you make me look like an idiot. But he was saying he's so happy it's been reprinted and they finally corrected it.
Jess, thanks for today's Get This and Not That video, April 2022. You're welcome. Read this, not that.
What's your next book, Jess? Do you have any more to talk about?
Oh, do I? I think that these are easier to find than Jonah Hex. That's All-Star Western. Still Palmiotti and Gray writing, Justin Gray and Palmiotti still writing Jonah Hex. This is the new 52. New 52 run. Now the preceding run, Jonah Hex in trade paperback, that's tougher. I haven't seen any out in the wild. I've seen these out in the wild, and they're pulling higher prices than is really conscionable. These can almost all be, I think there's 5. Let's see. What do I have here? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think many of them, I think they can all be found for a very reasonable price online. You could take your chances with Comic Hub. I don't know what to tell you about Jonah Hex. Both of these deserve Omnis. Jonah Hex, you could have 2 Omnis of that collection practically. Yeah, you could. There's so many Jonah Hex books by Palmiotti and Gray. Those are begging for 2 Omnis. This would be a great Omni too. I think they have nailed it in a way. Joe R. Lansdale and Tim Truman, I think, are other good creators that have shown a good feel for Jonah Hex. But Gray and Palmiotti have a great voice for Jonah Hex, and I love these books, and they're really worth searching for. There's 6 of them, and I don't think you will have to break the bank at all. I think you'll be surprised at how affordable these all are. Okay, let me catch up while you're talking about your next one.
So my next 3 books are by Warren Ellis, one of which Jess and I both read and loved last year. That's Thunderbolts.
Yes.
This is probably the most fun I had reading a comic last year. Would you agree, Jess, or close to it?
It was just a ton of fun.
And Norman Osborn drawn like Tommy Lee Jones, A+ for me. And
with the hair that was right too.
That the final half of the book in particular is awesome, where it's just like a house on fire. It's a mile a minute, just super fast paced, an action movie. I just love. I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm not going to say anything. But it's basically Norman Osborn is during the what's the dark? Is it Dark Siege? No, it's what's it?
I think
what
it
era? Is it Dark Siege? Yeah,
I think it's Dark Siege. Yeah,
where he's in charge of Hammer, and now he's in charge of the Thunderbolts as well. Has Venom on the team. They have Bullseye on the team, and this book is just amazing. It's funny, action-packed, a lot of gory deaths in there, which everyone knows that Jess and I love. So this is a book. I don't know how hard it is to find, though, Jess. I'm not sure if you have any insight into it. I found it at an LCS by me at one of my honey holes, so I'm not exactly sure how hard it is to find or not.
Let me do a quick analysis.
And great Mike Deodato artwork. I think he has every single issue. So 12 issues, does every single issue. Fantastic stuff. I just love whenever, Norman Osborn has a particularly odd interaction with two of his workers, and one of them says, "I'm gonna need so much therapy after this." I just love that line.
Okay, it's too expensive on Amazon.
Oh, Dark Reign. Thanks, Joe Goose. That's what it was.
Oh, what I say, Dark Siege? I meant Dark Reign. Yeah, thanks,
Close
Joe
enough.
Goose. Dark something.
Oh, Siege. Yeah, it wasn't even Dark Siege. It's Siege and then Dark Reign. All right.
Ellis trade. Let's see what it's going for. Oh, it's going for almost cover price and below on eBay.
Oh, not bad. Then definitely pick it up if you're.
What's the cover price on that?
Let me look. $30. Very good price for this.
Yeah, they're going for right around that. Thunderbolts. Oh, there's one you can get for $130. That's realistic.
Oh, good proof for that one, guys.
Yeah, buy that. Here's one for $44, $29, $34. Yeah, and this book's completely worth it. I think that's another one that if you want to get it for maybe cover price, you should leave a search on eBay for it, because this shows me that this is pushing it by some of these dopes on eBay. I think that I wouldn't pay more than $30 for it, quite frankly. I love it. I love it, but I don't want to see you guys, taken.
Even better is next.
Oh,
I found this at my honey hole too, Jess.
Now that might be harder to find.
This book is awesome. This is a book I'm probably gonna read every year, every other year. It's that good. It's hilarious. It's action packed. Stuart Immonen is one of my favorite artists. And one of my favorite things about Stuart Immonen is that he looks different in every book that he does. And it's crazy how adaptable he is, how flexible he is as an artist. He can draw this and then do a book like Plunge by Joe Hill. Totally different style, but still just as good. This is a book that every Marvel fan has to have in their collection. It's a must buy. You must buy it.
Yeah. Okay, wait. There's a couple things, and then I'm going to catch up some more. Half Price ships books. Yeah, if you call Half Price Books, here's a tip. If you can call Half Price Books, if you go to Half Price Books and find it in stock somewhere, besides ordering it, you should call that location, have them pull it for you, and ship it in a cardboard box. Because otherwise, Half Price Books ships everything with no padding in anything but a plastic envelope. Somehow I've gotten all my books in great shape, but that's an accident waiting to happen. So I would call Half Price Books and have them ship it in a box. And there was somebody being nice to me, so I wanted to highlight that because they were nice. No, come on. Where are all the nice things somebody said about me? No, something Pittsburgh, something New Jersey, something. Oh, here it is. YP, glad to catch you guys live. Last time I bought an out-of-print book was from Omnidog, Wedding of Cyclops and Phoenix Omnibus. Thanks. Way to go, YP. I'm glad I could help you. New Jersey, Pittsburgh, USPS, something, Craven's Hunt and Absolute. Okay, we're talking about oh wait, where's BJ Kicks? Hey dude, how's it going, buddy? Absolute House of X for sure.
That's a good one.
We're back on the Absolute part. Absolute Silver Surfer Requiem would be gorgeous. Craven's Last Hunt in Craig says Absolute would be cool. Spider-Man Life Story. Lee Kirby Fantastic Four run would look great in oversized format. You and Craig were on the same page half an hour ago. I don't know what it was about.
I definitely know what that was about.
What was it about?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Let's see. When will we see more creator interviews?
Probably not super soon.
Taylor has a newborn baby, and that he's our go-to guy to get creators, and he's extremely busy.
It's not easy either. It's disheartening at some points. Not because people are rude, it's because people are busy and aren't able to respond, or they just say no, and so it gets hard sometimes when you feel like you're hitting a lot of walls. We've had some good ones though. We've had a lot of great ones, really. But I like to get back to it at some point. I just don't have time right now.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, BJ. Just is one of my faves. You're one of my faves too, dude. Jason Aaron's Thor. I'm passing it. What? I just wasn't into it. What? Just should have ended his interview with and a Bobby Booey to you all. From what interview was that? Just if you contact the news station that aired the death of Superman, they should have a copy. Really? That was 30. How long ago was 1994? 78 years ago? 80 years ago?
Might as well then.
You think they still have that kind of stuff? That I could consider that. I do want Thunderbolts 2 Omni to come out, hopefully. That is an Omni that I want to read. That's by Kurt Busiek and maybe Mark Bagley. I can't see through here, but I really want to read that Omni. Lameworks, thanks for putting me on that Layla Starr book, Jess. I read it today and it was incredible. That is one of my my top 2 books of the year are The Many Deaths of Layla Starr and Barbaric, 2 completely different books, but 2 books I recommend everybody just blind buy and love. Layla Starr, I don't see how it's not my number 1 book of the year. It's got to be. I don't see how it can be topped. That's a Stern reference. That's so funny. I was just thinking about that today with the OJ chase. For some reason, I was thinking about the OJ chase. Here's just Cycle Cleveland talking Stern to me, so that's great. I appreciate it, Cycle.
How many books do you have left on your stack?
I have 2. Do you want to go?
You can go. I already did 2, so you can go.
Okay. Because I think we have how many more do you have?
I just have 1 more left.
Oh, okay. Superboy Smallville Attacks. This is an orphaned book. It came out right before New 52. It's got Jeff Lemire writing it, so it only came out in 1 volume. Safe, I think this is one of the times when a creator, a big name creator, I think he was a lot smaller creator back then, because this is pre-New 52. New 52 cut this off, and they started off with a new Superboy, which is too bad, because Lemire nails the character of Smallville, of all the people in Smallville, various heroes, Crypto, Lana Lang, with an amazing story that I wish had been carried on further. It is super touching, super exciting, and very much of an adventure. And it ends with it does end. So it's 1 and done. You can read it 1 and done. There you go, buddy.
I got this in Pittsburgh when you were here. You just reminded me that I have it, so I pulled it off the shelf, and I'll read this next.
You're reading it next. Okay.
I just finished Venom today, so I need something to read next. So
awesome. I was thinking there was something we should talk about that we talked about that I should read next, but I can't think of what it was.
Oh, recently on text?
This show.
Oh, the show. I don't remember.
BJ Kicks directly contradicting me. I got a hardcover from HPV, Listen to Good, and it had a whole issue ripped out. LOL. Okay, everybody's experience is different. I'm sorry, BJ. the minister forced me into those out of print scalp books by having them in the background of y'all's show.
Scalp is a great series. I don't think you read it, right?
I haven't finished it. No, I've read the first 2 volumes 6 times and just can't finish it.
You definitely have to finish that by this year.
That's a crime. That's one of the many comic book crimes that are on my wall. I finished Fables. I finished Sweet Tooth. Haven't finished Ex Machina. I finished Twilight.
That's great.
I know.
I love Ex Machina.
I know.
That's one of my favorite Brian K. Vaughan books. It's so underrated.
I would say that and Preacher. I'm sorry. That and Scalped are my really big secret DC shame that I haven't finished those. I mean,
guess what, Jess? You're in luck. Your wife isn't home, and you can read them.
Oh, I also have to finish Batwoman by next Saturday for Kristen.
Well, there's no chores right now. There's no
there's
list,
not.
which I was stunned by. I said, "Oh, what's your chore list?" And you're like, "I don't have one," and I was mouth agape.
Tyler is. I'm sorry, Taylor.
Tyler's doing taxes right now. He's not here.
It's too hard having friends named Taylor and Tyler. You don't know what it's like.
I'm not as happy as he is. No one is. Just hear that there's no happiness in my voice like his. Let me show you.
I think I bought that Wolverine by Rucka book back in 2017, 2018 at CGN. It was between $40 and $50.
I got it for cover, whichever. It's at the bottom of my stack. I think it's $35 cover, maybe $40.
Hitman is on the DC app, which I use a lot.
Jess, I know you're going to agree with my last choice.
Oh, wait, Tallulah says Hitman 5 and 6 have been impossible for me. We'll try. Are you in the US, Tallulah? Try Comic Book Hub for those. I can't imagine that 5 and 6 are more expensive than 1 and 2. Well, they're later parts, so they got more lightly ordered, if I'm using it right. Wait, this is from Next Imaginaut. Relatedly, Omar has repeatedly intimated that he's received some sort of intel from DC that Hitman is much likelier to be collected in a compendium than an Omni.
Blah. I hate compendiums.
Taylor, not a fan of compendiums.
If you want to get a big crease in the spine, it's a great way to collect a book.
Well, that also that's one of the problems with my being half an hour behind is I make all these grand declarations and then they're shot down half an hour later. and I look like a dope for a while or the whole time.
My final book that I'll talk about is one that I know Jess will agree with, and that's Ocean Orbiter.
Oh, I didn't know you were picking that. What a great choice.
Love this book. I found it again at one of my honey holes, Jess. This is fantastic. I think they're both great stories, but I think Orbiter is probably my favorite. Yeah, Orbiter. The one that's set in space or set in space travel.
Yeah.
Where a spaceship from like 20 or 30 years before finally comes back and they found it, and there's definitely a big mystery centered around that. Ocean is also a great series, a little more action-packed, whereas Orbiter is a little bit more thoughtful and a little bit more of just not a head scratcher, but something that makes you think a little bit more, whereas Ocean's like a straight-up action movie. But both these, that doesn't sound good. But both of these books are fantastic, and I don't know how hard this is to find. Jess, do you have this deluxe or do you have the trades?
I have the deluxe signed by
Colleen Doran.
Colleen Doran, exactly.
But do you remember which one you like better? I like Orbiter better of the two.
I loved them both, but I loved Orbiter better. Yeah. Let's see. Ocean Orbiter. Oh, well, no. Start with the Ocean Orbiter.
Is there anybody? Here's a question, Jess. Is there anybody in comics who writes better sci-fi than Warren Ellis?
No.
I don't think that's even a question, really, is it?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's a little pricey on Amazon, which tells me you can find it much cheaper and probably cover price on eBay.
Or check Comic Hub if you want to.
Or check Comic Hub, yeah.
So that was my last choice.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm almost. I need to get kind of. Okay, a bunch of manga stuff, so I'm not paying attention because I don't understand it all. Ellis Thunderbolts is awesome. Oh, and there's where Joe Goose opened your answered your dark rain question. The next Marvel event, Dark Siege, make it happen. I just recreated your trip to Pittsburgh, Jess. I think I found the Palmiotti brothers by New Dimension Comics. That was one of the best sandwiches I've ever eaten. I could have eaten 2 of those.
You'll have to come back and get it again.
Oh, you bet I will. That poor guy said, "Hell, is your pastrami lean?" Because I was worried about getting a big old fatty sandwich, and he came back and he goes, "Our pastrami is lean."
He probably just went back to the back and just counted to 15 seconds and came back.
Yeah, I don't know why I asked that. I was afraid of getting a fatty pastrami sandwich like I always get at the delis in New York. So, but this thing, it was nothing but meat and frickin' with its French fries and coleslaw. The French fries were better than I thought they'd be. French fries are really good, and they were all in the sandwich.
That kind of was like a Real Housewife type of question.
That was what?
That really was like a Real Housewife, like Beverly Hills mom question.
I immediately felt stupid. I was like, why am I making that guy go back there? It's crazy busy here. They're not going to serve fatty pastrami. Why'd you ask that question? I felt bad as soon as I asked it, and I over-tipped him to the max.
We shouldn't have felt that bad because this table next to us had 25 women who all paid individual bills. Which is insane. It was like, I think it was 15 women. 15 women together. Everyone paid. Might have been 20, actually.
I think it was 20.
I remember, like, how many checks do we need? 20. It's like, are you kidding me? Come on, don't torture this person.
Yeah, I remember he was our waiter. I remember he delivered 20 separate checks to women, which meant that they were each going to tip him $1. And they were going to give him the shaft. And that's another reason I over-tipped him, because I felt... bad for him. Well, I'm glad, the collector. I'm glad you got to go to New Dimension and to try. What'd you have there next? If I can get to it before the end of the show, what sandwich did you have there?
Well, I'm going to give a 10-minute warning.
10-minute warning. Okay, good. That's good.
I definitely don't do as long of shows as I used to, Jess.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I get it.
Hard to hit the 3-hour mark.
How much did you pay for the End Hulk, Jess? Found one in Pittsburgh. The End is good. I certainly didn't pay more than cover. He's not going to give you that information. And if you're asking me, I don't have one.
I already hate telling people that Pittsburgh is great for comics.
Yeah.
I wish I just told them it's horrible here. There's none. There's no comics.
There's Bunkmaster B. How long ago was that? 10:05. Okay, I'm only 15 minutes behind. Love seeing NextWave Love. Oh yeah, we both love it. Such a great series. Stuart Immonen, one of my absolute faves, and Ellis wrote one of the absolute funniest books on the racks. All perfect, all perfectly said.
I've never heard someone say something bad about that book.
No.
I wish I had the Marvel Legends, the Captain, as well as the Elvis MODOK. I wish I had gotten that.
Yeah. Can you still?
It was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. I'm not a member of Hasbro Pulse, so I'm sure I could probably find it on eBay, but probably not for super good prices, I would assume. Yeah. I hate Hasbro Pulse exclusives.
I understand it. Last out of print book that I bought was World War Hulk, and that was from OPB's Whatnot auction at 110 shipped. Organic Price Books has Whatnot auctions too. Remember to use your $2 code Omnidog off. I don't know if it includes auctions. Let's go with what is this doing here? Organic Price Books code Omnidog, $2 off your order, 5% more off, shipping 3 or more books together. That's cool that they do Whatnot. If they do Whatnot auctions. Found a redeemable 4 from some lady in Seattle, and she did not know how to send a pic. I went ahead and bought it for $35. She just shipped it in a mailer. Oh, without bubble wrap, and it was mint. Yikes. Someone just found a first printing of JLA Avengers because they were moving locations. He posted it on Facebook. So did someone put what was the first printing? I know it's come out in trade paperback, absolute, and then the new one that everybody's gone crazy over. So how did the person find it? Did somebody move? Oh, somebody moved and he bought it from them? That's a pretty bitchin' story. We need a show and running years of just to be read next list. Oh, my goodness. This is back when I was botching up your names. I have a friend named Tyler Taylor, no BS.
I knew a guy whose last name was Georges and his dad's name was George Georges.
George Georges?
Yeah, that was his name. Can you imagine having your last name be Georges and you name your son George?
What?
His
What
dad
were
was
parents
named
thinking
George
then? Did they
Georges.
want him to have a hard time in life?
I thought it was really funny though.
Wow. Lameworks. Have you guys read Resident Alien? This was also
by Cy Spurrier, right? Cy Spurrier?
Resident Alien.
If it's by Cy Spurrier, then I've read it.
I would think I would have read it too. Resident Alien? Let me look over in my Cy Spurrier. I don't see Resident Alien. I see Disenchanted.
Oh, maybe it's by somebody else. Wait, wasn't there an Alien book by Cy Spurrier?
That I don't know, but Mark Spector or Jake Lockley, who is, I believe, from Scotland, also recommended this book to me, so we should probably check it out. It's supposed to be really good.
Oh, Cy Spurrier's Alienated. Whoops.
Oh, yeah, I just read that. That's great. Okay, Resident Alien, I want to read that. I like the Resident Alien show. Want to read the comics because of it, okay? Nah, I think he just answered that, but we'll talk about it anyway.
I had a Walking Dead compendium years ago and had a huge crease in the middle, and I've seen a lot of people with similar issues with compendiums, and I just think it's I really care about what the spines look like. When I'm paying this much for books, I want them to be in good condition. That's just my opinion. Some people don't care at all, and that's fine. But I like to collect and to read. So I want them to be presentable.
Yeah. Have either of you read Warren Ellis' superhero trilogy from Avatar? Curran rereading it, and it's awesome.
The only one that I haven't read is Super Gods. We both have No Hero and Black Summer. Do you have Super Gods?
I think I have it in singles.
That one's hard to find.
I need to look. It is hard to find?
Yeah.
Super Gods?
I also didn't buy it because I also didn't work very hard because the cover is a superhero on a cross, and I was like, maybe this won't be for me. So I decided maybe it's better if I can't find it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yes. I've heard about Mofongo, Rodimus Prime Rib, from everybody in the chat. Lou's from Puerto Rico. Geo's in Puerto Rico. I've heard nothing but great things about Mofongo. I want to have Mofongo.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, for sure. Mofongo is enough reason, but there's no good comic place to check out. Well, I'll come to Puerto Rico just to eat then. I won't come to get any comics. I want Mofongo, though. Pittsburgh cheesesteak. That's what you got at Palmiati Brothers. Awesome. And did you enjoy it? Because they whack in all the, the coleslaw with the French fries. So that's a different sandwich, but it's really awesome. Irish Knight. Dang, all my stuff skipped. I feel shafted. Oh, if you're talking about your messages, Irish Knight, I buzzed through a bunch because I was so far behind. Ask him again. It's I just got way behind. Okay, it's always about, okay, now let's see. Superman had that Alien book, and I'm guessing they won't reprint that. That Alien book had one, I think, speaking of confrontations between Luthor and Superman, that had a great confrontation between Luthor and Superman.
American Alien?
Yeah.
Yeah, Max Landis is somebody who caught a hashtag. So I don't think it's ever going to be reprinted. Yeah, I don't want to say that. It's not. Maybe it's already in print. I could be totally wrong, but I don't imagine it being done in any other format, like a deluxe or anything like that down the line.
I don't know what kind of hashtag he caught. Is he going to be able to come back from it, or is it not likely?
Doubtful. He was going to do a book called Superman Agent of Batman, which sounded really cool, but that didn't happen. Another good book that he had that came out, Green Valley. Do you have that, Jess?
I do have Green Valley.
That's a good book too. You'd enjoy that.
Yeah, I have Green Valley. I feel like it's right here.
Yeah, so it probably is still in print. I'm not sure if American Alien's out of print or not. It's probably still in print. I just don't imagine them doing much more with it down the line.
Okay. Let's see. Did we talk about all the books we wanted to talk about? Where's my note list?
I think you had one left that you wanted to talk about.
I did, but I want to make sure. Okay, Nightwing, Thunderbolts question, All-Star, Batgirl, blah blah blah. Yeah. I don't know how out of print this is. I think you're the one that told me to get this. You found it for me in Pittsburgh. I'm almost positive. This book?
I didn't tell you to pick that up. But
oh, brother.
What? It's Geoff Johns and Francis Manapul. How bad could it be?
Yeah, well, that was my thought. And it's a really sweet story with a really dark Luthor. I mean, dark Luthor. And it's really well written. I don't know how badly it's out of print. It looks like it leads into something else.
Okay.
He's in cahoots with Brainiac. Lots of great crypto in it, and Robin is in it. All your Smallville characters and stuff. Great art, great story, very thin hardcover. I could have where did I get this?
Would you say this is still better than that?
I feel like it's more hopeful. This book ends on a dark.
I like dark stuff. I'm just joking.
Oh well, here I'll give it.
I'm
to
just
you.
joking. All right, thanks. Over here. I should pick that up though eventually.
I don't think it's going for outrageous prices at all. I think it's pretty close to cover price. And I mean, it's Geoff Johns writing Superboy back when Geoff Johns really had his superpowers. I like it a lot, and I don't think it's hard to find. Warren Weaver says American Alien is in print on Amazon.
It's a great book.
Yeah. Will we ever see a meeting of the minds with all the Omnibros one day, Jess? That would be great to see all of you guys together in one place. You mean the original 6 of us? We could probably make that happen and have it be like another trivia night where people people send in through the chat their trivia questions for us. That's probably the only way I could lure them into it, because Omar and Gabe like trivia, and Geo hates it. Lou and I like it. I think Riley just has it in his brain. So I think it no, I mean, you guys meet up in person. Well, I've the only persons that I haven't met are Lou and Geo. So if I go to Puerto Rico for Mofongo, I'm going to see Geo. And I was supposed to see Lou a few years ago when we went to Disney World, and he had to grade papers. at the last minute. We were all set up. I had Sunday all blanked out at Disney World to go meet Lou. So yeah, the 6 of us together, no, that's never going to happen. But I mean, I can meet everybody, but the 6 of us together, it's going to take something extraordinary to get that to happen. I cannot imagine what, because our interests are so different than when we started. Gabe's not collecting omnis anymore. He's leaning more into collecting graded singles. Riley's into manga. Gio's into anime, mostly in video games. Omar is Omar. I'm still me. And Lou is completely digital, but he still reads comics. I don't know what the one thing, maybe if the Beatles got back together, but I don't know what the one thing is that would get us all to meet up together.
Omar's trial.
Omar's what?
Omar's trial.
Yeah. Irish Knight has a question for you, buddy.
Sounds like it's a question for you too.
I don't remember a week ago. For my daughter, 31 years ago.
It's really hard to give advice because every single baby's different, and you just never really know. One thing I don't like is when people try to like brace you for how hard your baby's going to be. They have no idea how hard your baby's going to be. They have no idea. Every baby's different. I have 2 kids that sleep really well. That's not the experience for most people. So
No.
And so I just feel like every baby's different. I don't like trying to scare people like, oh man, it's going to suck. It's just, you just never know. All you can do is just love your kid, love your partner, and be there for them. That's all you can really do.
And I had, Kelly had a difficult first 6 weeks. So I would say patience is the key for you, Irish Knight. She was not getting enough nutrition from mom or the bottle, and she was constantly hungry. And when we finally took her to the doctor after, I don't know, her 2-month checkup, the doctor just said, this baby's not getting enough food. And I thought, oh my God, we're going to get our child taken from us. And my sister-in-law is the one that figured it out. In the baby bottle, the nipple hole was too small. She just cranked it open and made it really wide open so Kelly could get food in her, and the problem was solved. So patience is the key.
Yeah, my daughter had colic for, it was like a couple weeks, and usually that lasts for a couple months. So we got lucky there that it wasn't that long, but I agree. There were a lot of days just walking around the house. I must have done 1,000 laps, just walking around, getting her to calm down. Thankfully, it didn't last long, but there's going to be points, no matter what your kid's like, we have to be patient. No matter what. When they're teenagers, when they're toddlers, when they're babies.
31.
Yeah, you're going to need to have patience your entire life, because being a parent never ends, no matter how old your kids are. Even your kids are 70 and you're 90 something, you're still parenting.
Oh, I hope that happens for me.
Well, actually, maybe I'm actually kind of wrong. At that point, your kids are kind of parenting you.
Yeah.
But okay, but when you have adult kids like you have, they're still parenting.
Right. Oh, yeah. I never stop worrying.
And the older they get, the bigger the problems get, and they get harder to solve. So
that's true.
The more complex the issues get. So
Trigonosis, the biggest Sam and Twitch fan I know. And thank you for the tip that you posted in the collectibles chat, Trig, because that was an awesome deal with awesome shipping, and I jumped on it. So I appreciate your posting that, Trig. Big, as they say, as the youth say or said 20 years ago, big ups to you.
What's up, my fellow kids?
What is up, my fellow kids? And I don't know a thing about Sam and Twitch, but Batman's, I mean, if Batman can meet the max, why can't he meet Sam and Twitch?
Someone needs to Photoshop your head on a Steve Buscemi's body in that scene from 30 Rock. What's up, my fellow kids?
Well, you know, I could do it. I could have recreated it myself. I had a skateboard, but I traded it for comics to Steve at Third Eye a long time ago. But
this will be a thumbnail. This will be a thumbnail for us at some point. So let's not talk about it anymore.
Okay.
The cogs are churning in my brain.
we're caught up finally, and I think let me just say real quick, $2 off your order, organic price books, code Omnidog, and the address, there's a hot link for you to click in the description of the box, takes you right to OPB, and 5% off, shipping more than 3 or more bucks together. Omnidog, ship it together. And I just got a present for a friend from OPB, and her name's not Taylor. Sorry.
Oh, why isn't it me?
Because I think you've gotten enough from me. Haven't I given you presents? Don't I give you flowers and chocolates and things?
Well, yeah, but the chocolate melted and the flowers died by the time they got here.
Always picky. Always jamming me up. That's why we're having trouble here, Taylor.
I guess the grass is always greener. I could always turn the dead flowers into potpourri and the chocolate. I don't know, into something else. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Texas Gaming. Thank you. Hit the like button, folks. Please. We have a lot of people. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. And feel free to leave a comment. I love comments. People are always asking good questions, recommending good books, comparing Taylor to Chris O'Donnell. So
deep cut.
That is a deep cut. That was like one of our first episodes. Okay, Next Imaginaut. This is for you, Taylor. This is a good Next Imaginaut one to end it with.
But there wasn't any huge words there. I don't know who Erisham the judge is, but
oh, you don't? Okay.
I don't know what's that from. Okay, I don't know what Erisham the judge is.
Returns to Judge Humanity puts Omar on trial as our species' prime representative by whom to weigh our ultimate worth. Oh, well, then humanity's in trouble. Andrew Nutt, no, I have not. Which one's that for? Is that for the Houston Finch run? I'm kind of jealous that I didn't get that, but they were a gift from a friend, the oversized hardcovers, and I want to keep them, but I know that's a really good run. Oh, Erisham is the leader of the Celestials. That's something neither Taylor nor I would know. That does sound like something that would happen to Omar. The Celestials would pick him out. Taylor needs to go to Taylor time, and old Omnidog has Omnidog time to go for. Wait, guys, just bought all the IDW Ninja Turtle books released so far. Omnidog, I trust your judgment. Boom! Let me know how you feel. Leave a message once you've read a couple, and let me know how you. Let me what you think, Thrill. I'm really excited for you. I haven't seen the Eternals movie. Is that what he was in? Somebody.
Yes. I skipped that movie.
I want to see it, but I'm really excited for you, Thrill. I hope you enjoy him as much as I did. If you want, you can go back in my library a few years ago when Tyler and I reviewed all the books up till 8, and I lost Tyler. No, we got to 9, I think, or 10. We reviewed 1 through 10. So if you go back in my library and search for Tyler and me reviewing TMNT, you can get our thoughts on all of it that's non-spoilery. But it's in my library, Omnidog's Vault, on YouTube, and I think that...
Don't read any more of the comments, Jess. The end of the Eternals got spoiled, so don't look at it.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, don't look at it.
Okay. Wait, let me.
I'm trying to save you and this commenter a lot of grief.
Thank you. Yeah, I do want to see it still. Well, then this should be a good time to end it. Minister of Comics, where can they find you?
At Minister of Comics on Instagram.
He posts a lot there and has a lot of followers. He's got a lot of good recommendations. I suggest you IG him. His link is in the description, as well as my link for Instagram, Omnidogs_vault. Please go to Organic Price Books. Please be good to each other. Thank you. Peace and love to the chat and the people watching this afterwards, to the people lurking. Thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate you all. And I'm going to go to our song to play us out.
Play us out.
Play us out. What is well, I'll write the thing myself. So good night, everybody. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Batterdays. 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 Omnidog in the Minister of Comics. Talk forever, get right your ergonomics. Taking questions from the chat. With a name like that, you think they talk more about the bat. Batterdays. Batterdays.